if you're tired. I don't care if your arms hurt. I don't care if you got a headache. Encourage each other. Get the spark in you so we can thrive on the energy. Just like in a football game. Just like in a football game.
These are the times. This is the place. Time to get on your best game face. These are the best years of your life. Gonna leave it on the football field tonight. Hear the band play the fight song. Making memories, this is where I belong. I love my team, I love my school. We're live on TV, this is so cool. Game time, Friday night football. Whoa, game time, it's Friday night football. Fox 4, Friday night live, game of the week.
The Cox Ford Game of the Week proudly presents Louisiana High School football playoff action in South Louisiana. Tonight, it's the Class 5A semifinals as the Zachary Broncos seek their first ever trip to the Mercedes-Benz Superdome as they'll take on a Parkway Panthers team that travels back down to South Louisiana as they are looking to get back into the Dome after playing there just a couple of years ago. Hello, everyone. I'm Jeff Lermo along with Jason DeQueer. Lara Ashley is the third member of our broadcast team, and she will join us shortly. These two teams feature explosive offenses and really good players on defense as well.
Yeah, if you like a lot of points, you're going to love this football game. Scoreboard, get ready. Both of these teams typically score more than 40 points a game. Two very capable quarterbacks that you've mentioned. Two very good coaches, very good programs. This one is for all the marbles if you want to get to the Superdome.
You're right about that. Let's take a look at the keys to victories brought to you by Mellow Joy. Let's take a look at what Parkway needs to do and their head coach, David Feaster.
Well, they got to slow down Lindsey Scott, slow down the Gatorade Player of the Year. How you do that, I don't know, but they got to figure it out. They got to force some turnovers, and then those offensive linemen have to stay on their blocks, their key blocks.
Parkway's going to want to throw the football here tonight, but they also want to establish a bit of a running game, so that's why that offensive line is so important. Now what does Zachary need to do and their head coach, David Brewerton?
Well, you hit on it. They want to run the football. The reason is it keeps the other offense on the sideline. They need to get pressure on the quarterback, and then they also need to cover some of these onside kicks that Parkway likes to do.
Yeah, Parkway doesn't like to punt, and they don't really like kicking off, so they like to try to steal some possessions. This one should be absolutely fun. The last time we were here, it went right down to the wire between Zachary and Scotlandville. We're anticipating another matchup like that here tonight. The 5A semifinals will kick off when we come back from Zachary here on Cox 4. A trip to the state championship game on the line tonight here at Zachary High School as the Parkway Panthers and the Zachary Broncos battle it out. In Zachary, Louisiana, these two teams both 12-1 on the season. Zachary last year, they made it to the semifinals, but they lost to Acadiana. Ended up losing it to the Wrecking Rams, who ended up winning the state championship once again. They only scored 3 points in that game last year, so looking to get through this year. Parkway, they were not in the playoffs last year as they had to suspend some or forfeit some games during the regular season and ended up not making the playoffs. But in 2013, the Panthers, they were in the state championship game against Acadiana and lost an absolute shootout to them as well over 120 points were scored in that game with Brandon Harris as the quarterback. So the captains are on the field. And we're anticipating a lot of points to be scored in this game. Zachary has won the toss. They've elected to defer, so we'll see the Parkway offense first. The Panthers, the 6th seed in Class 5A, ended up going 12-1 on the season. Best wins of the regular season were against Bastrop, Bird, Haught, and Airline. Their lone loss was to Evangel on September 25th. They lost that game 56-21. Once they got into the playoffs, they defeated Natchitoches Central 46-14 in the first round. Defeated Acadiana 55-28 in that rematch of the 2013 game, knocking off the two-time defending champs. And then they beat Destrehan in the quarterfinals. David Brewerton in his second season, as I mentioned, led them to the semifinals last year where they lost to Acadiana. 16-3 during his time here at Zachary, 12-1 this season. They beat Sulphur in the first round, 54-32, defeated Dutchtown 35-14 in the second round, and then a winner over Hahnville in the quarterfinals, 55-27.
And you know, Jeff, the irony for Coach Brewerton is his alma mater is playing down in the Superdome tonight. So although he's going to be primarily focused on his team tonight, he's going to be tracking to see if his alma mater wins their first state championship.
And we'll keep you updated with that game along with the Parkview game as well, as they are battling St. Thomas More right now in the Division II semifinal, or excuse me, Division II championship game. And St. Thomas More leads that game over Parkview at last report, 14-10. That was at halftime. But glad you could join us on a chilly but yet still comfortable night for high school football in South Louisiana in December. Zachary has it teed up, and we're about ready to go here, as this place is jam-packed with people. Martel Fontenot has it teed up, and it's a squib kick taken by one of the upmen, and he was down. Chase Hill collected the football, and he fell down to the ground. So it's going to be 1st and 10 for Parkway, where the man's knee hit the floor. So we get our look here at Keandre Woodty. And what a season this young man has had. He has thrown for 3,100 yards. He's rushed for 300. He is committed to Louisiana Tech. C.J. Morgan is the one that is committed to Mississippi State. But Woodty has it in shotgun formation, and we're ready to go. It looks like they want to try to set up the screen. He's stumbling, and he's going to lose a lot of yards. Oh, boy, he loses 19 yards. What a big play by the defense for the Zachary Broncos.
Well, you can see how excited that Zachary fan base is, and what a big play on defense to start this football game. This was one of the keys of the football game for Zachary to have a chance, and that's to get pressure on Keandre Woodty. They did it on that play and have backed him up.
So now on 2nd and very long, they'll try to run the football here with actually getting the carry there was C.J. Morgan. Let's take a look at Parkway's offense, their starting lineup. The offensive line, Hunter Nichols, Kendall Brown, Nicholas Holt, Dalton Michel, and then Ladrian Patterson, who's a 6'1" senior. The skill position players, McKnight, Brown, Morgan, Deontay Hawkins, and Terrace Marshall is a really good sophomore wideout. On 3rd and long, Woodty fires one over to the near sidelines. Did he make the grab? No, the referee says he was out of bounds. That was Deontay Hawkins, and a 3-and-out to start this football game.
Well, let's see if we can take a look to see. Now, he kind of came open real late in that possession there, right by the sideline. The Zachary team kind of blocked my view there, but obviously the referee has made the call, so it's going to be incomplete.
So Parkway, the big sack, really just disrupted that drive. Harrison Hopkins will handle the punting, and then a very dangerous return man in Douglas Coleman standing around midfield. Hopkins' punt is not very good. And it hits a Zachary player, and now it's anyone's ball at the 50-yard line. Parkway says they have it. Referee sorting it out, and it's going to remain Zachary's football.
Well, they're fortunate there. It looked like it bounced off of one of Parkway's guys initially, then deflected off of Zachary. But obviously Parkway, Zachary was able to recover that ball, and they'll be starting their offense as you look there at Lindsey Scott.
Yeah, Lindsey Scott named the Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Louisiana. He has put up some phenomenal numbers, 2,600 yards passing, 1,600 yards rushing, and he has been really good in the postseason. And we'll see Scott run the football here, makes a nice cut, and then gets upended as he got to the 42-yard line. Lloyd Cole, we're going to mention his name quite a few times. He was in on a tackle. Let's look at Zachary's offensive line. Brought to you by Peak Performance Physical Therapy. Dominique Holden, Blake Anderson, Kelton Hollins, a TCU commitment, Terrell Turner, and Trevor Jackson, a 2-year starter. That's your offensive line for the Broncos. 2nd down and 3 after the 7-yard run by Scott. Terry Sullivan is the running back on his right hip. As we have 4 wide receivers and a fumble in the backfield, and that time I think Parkway got it, and they did. Recovering the loose football is Colton Nichols, a junior, and an early turnover in this game.
Well, in playoff football, turnovers is always the key, and typically the team with the fewest of them goes on to prevail. And here, a very costly turnover by Zachary. Just mishandles on the replay. You can see here, just mishandles the snap. Doesn't look like a bad snap, and looked like they were going to do that sort of read option with the running back there. Mishandles it. Now Parkway gets the ball back right about the 50-yard line.
Woodsy in shotgun formation, and no throw. He got sacked the last time he went back to pass on first down. This time he dumps it off to C.J. Morgan, and Morgan stiff arms one defender and moves into Zachary territory, picks up a first down, a gain of 11. Let's take a look at the Broncos starting lineup, brought to you by Peak Performance Physical Therapy. Brad Jones, Darryl Brown, Michael James, and Aaron Celestine, who's a really good pass rusher. The linebackers, Keenan Tate, Herb Cummings, Donovan Perkins, an All-State player, and Tywan Bearden has been making a bunch of tackles during his career. On first down, they'll run the football again here with C.J. Morgan. And Morgan gets about 3. The Mississippi State commitment had a 94-yard touchdown run earlier in the playoffs. That time he only gets about 3, as I mentioned. Zachary's defense, they are allowing 27 points a game. Parkway, they have scored 45 or more points 9 times this season. Woodsy goes back, heaves one down the field, and just past C.J. Morgan.
Well, you get a good look at Woodsy's arm there and how tight and crisp he throws that ball on that post route there that was run by C.J. Morgan.
B.J. Cannon, James Tarver, and Rivertown. You'll also see Shiron White and Douglas Coleman back there defensively for Zachary, too. It's the semifinals of the playoffs, Jason. You go both ways if you're athletic and talented enough to do so.
Well, you're not saving it for anything.
That's for sure. Third down at 7. Woodsy will check over to the sidelines. In 2013, when Parkway made it to the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, they defeated Zachary 49-34. Neil Weiner was the coach at that time. Woodsy fires one, and it's incomplete. And it's now 4th down. I would think David Feaster goes for it. Again, they don't like to punt. They don't really like kicking off. They want to try to end each possession in the end zone.
Well, and that's why they have scored so many points. And you're right. You know, they are going to line up and go for it. Misconnected on that slant route. Looked like there might have been some contact. No call there. Big 4th down play here for Parkway.
4th and 7. Woodsy's going to run it, and he's got enough for a first down and more. Out to the 25-yard line. Now it's a foot race to the 5, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 4-yard line. A huge run there by Woodsy, 34 yards. He is not known as, or he has not ran for a lot of yards this year, Jason. But again, semifinals, he's going to run tonight.
Yeah, and a capable runner, and that's what makes both of these quarterbacks so dangerous. We saw Lindsey Scott be able to run the ball in the first possession of their drive, and now you see the ability of Woodsy when he does run the ball. And what a call, a quarterback keeper on 4th down, but that's the type of confidence they have in Woodsy running the football.
Inside the Arsenal Ford red zone, and on the 1st and goal play, gets stacked up. Brad Jones leading the charge there for the Broncos.
Well, there's a couple of things I'm going to be looking for in this football game. One, the pace of the game, how quickly Parkway gets their plays off versus how quickly Zachary wants to go. And then red zone scoring is another place, Jeff, that I think is going to be key for these spread teams.
Woodsy will look to, he stumbled in the backfield, and he loses yards back to the 6. Brought down by Donovan Perkins.
And, you know, how often do we see spread teams struggle a little bit when they get inside the 10-yard line? And you can see here, they're not really in the spread the last couple. They're more in the I formation, and it's not what they typically do. And so a lot of spread teams will often struggle down here.
The pitch to McKnight. McKnight puts his head down. It's close, but did not get in at the 1-yard line as 4 minutes have gone by in this opening quarter.
Well, and you can see already 3 tries down here from couple yards out, unable to get in, and now another big fourth down conversion where Parkway's got to get in the end zone or they're going to turn it over here.
Well, you talked about spread teams struggling once they got inside the 5. We saw that play out a couple of times in this stadium when Zachary and Scotlandville met up. And there's a fumble in the backfield. It's loose, and Zachary has come up with the goal line stand. Wow.
Well, they're 1 for 1. They have now traded turnovers, and they both came in critical places. Obviously, Zachary turned it over at midfield, but here, Zachary was able to create a turnover and stop Parkway from putting points up on first down. And what a goal line stance. 4 straight downs, stopping Parkway from getting into the end zone. None bigger than this play right here because it creates a fumble. But look, had he tackled him, they would have gotten the ball anyway.
So Zachary now will start underneath the shadows of their own goalpost from the 2-yard line. And there's all kinds of movement before the snap. If this is against Zachary, they can't push it back much further.
Yeah, I don't know.
On the offense, still first down, half the distance to the goal.
I think it was the right guard or tackle that time that was guilty. I saw a little flinch there, but you're right. I mean, one of the things is you're so far back, you can't really push them back much further. That's a half the distance. They got to.
Well, are you surprised, Jason, that we've played over 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes, and no points on the board yet? Scott in shotgun formation. He'll just run it as he get out of the end zone. Yes, he does. And he's still on his feet up to the 10-yard line. That is about as nice of a run as you'll see. That's why he's the Gatorade Player of the Year in Louisiana, Jason.
Yes, and it's the intangibles. We know he's got a rocket for an arm. We know he can run, but some of the other things, he's tough, he's strong, he's physical, he runs over people. I mean, and you saw it there. Those are the intangibles, and I'm going to tell you, that may not be the longest yards he runs for in a single play, but those are some of the most important yards given his team breathing room down here by their own goal line.
2nd down and 2. A Parkway player slow to get off the field as he needs some help from the training staff. Lindsey Scott committed to Syracuse. Now, Syracuse just fired its head coach, but right now Scott remains committed to the Orange. 2nd down and 2. He's got some time, now wants to take off with it, and he's brought down by Nick So'oto.
Well, this is really good by the Parkway defense here, and it's because they didn't get too far upfield, not allowing Lindsey Scott to escape the pocket.
Let's look at Parkway's defense. The starting lineup's brought to you by Peak Performance, Nick So'oto, Tony Butler, Kyler Marius. The linebackers, if we got a chance, Tarver Samaj, Greg Jones, Colton Nicholas, and Ryan Black. Those linebackers are really good. Greg Jones, he's all over the field. And then 3rd down and 5. Scott will take off on the draw, and he's got the first down. And then he is angled out of bounds and took a big hit by a player who was standing out of bounds. But Scott does get the first down. Hopefully he's okay, and I think he is. But there was, a Parkway player just standing over there. I don't think anything intentional happened over there, but that's the kind of things that happen in a high-intensity game, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it was hard to see way over there. Obviously, no flag, and, you always get concerned, when you're the visiting guys over there with all around the Parkway team. And let's see if, not much. Oh, well, I'll tell you what, right at the end, there could have been a flag there. Looked like a elbow was thrown from one of the players on the Parkway sideline.
Terry Sullivan gets a chance to carry the football here, and he gets it up to the 34-yard line, and ankle tackle by Ryan Black. Coach David Feaster tells me about this defense. They're not going to look very impressive coming off the bench or off the bus or off the bench or on the field, however you want to look at it. But they show you a lot of different looks. They're fast. They try really hard, and they're really good tacklers. 2nd down and 4. Scott, play action fake over the middle, and here's Shiron White. And then Shiron Wright fell down at the 49-yard line, but another first down for the Broncos. Let's take a look at Parkway's defensive secondary. Elijah Rivers, Lloyd Cole, Malcolm Banks, and Darius Bradford. Cole is the leader there. Makes a lot of tackles, big hitter, smart kid, 26 on the ACT. First down and 10, and look at this. Scott dropped the ball again, picked it up, and still able to get 5 yards before Greg Jones tosses him to the ground. But that's the second time Scott has mishandled the ball. I notice he does have a towel out there. Maybe on this cold night, his hands are a little dry.
Yeah, that, and you can see him rubbing him. But I think there's a timing issue here with the running back. You see, I think the running back and the quarterback aren't on the same page, and the running back has knocked that ball out of his hands twice. And so they've got to get on the same page there. A little miscommunication.
Under 5 minutes to go in this opening quarter. No score in this 5A semifinal game. Glad you can join us on the Cox 4 Game of the Week. Scott will run straight ahead, and then Scott takes it to the outside and then runs out of bounds at the 26-yard line. Another nice play there. Pickup of about 17.
Well, and you see they're using Lindsey Scott at the onset here a lot as a runner. And basically he's like having another running back in the backfield. And the other thing that I'm really noticing with this Zachary offense, they don't huddle either. They get their plays from the sideline. But they're more interested in slowing it down, believe it or not, Jeff, just a bit. They're letting the play clock tick off a lot more. They're not going as fast as Parkway and trying to keep that Parkway offense on the sideline.
Scott will throw over the middle as his man, and this is Shropshire. He fumbles the ball. It's still loose, and maybe Zachary gets a touchdown out of this. No, they're going to say he's down at the 1. Wow, that ball is slick tonight, Jason.
Well, you're right, and you mentioned that it is starting to get cooler. We haven't had a lot of cool weather in the area, but I'm not sure that he was down here. That's what I'm looking for. It looked like that ball clearly came out and was recovered in the end zone. I did not see a knee down. Obviously, that's the way the referee has called it, and it looks like it's going to be Zachary's ball on the 1-yard line. Let's see if we can catch it here. As he gets Shropshire coming across on the slant, ball is stripped out of there, as you mentioned, Jeff, right here. But let's see if there's a recovery and somebody down.
First and goal at the 1-yard line. Handoff, touchdown, Terry Sullivan. That's how you perform a 98-yard drive, Jason.
Well, and Zachary strikes first, and you're right. That is one heck of a drive, because if you remember, they started this drive all the way back from their own inch line, and they methodically drove this football down the field. That's why we mentioned Lindsey Scott as the Gatorade Player of the Year. He has this capability. Zachary strikes first.
15th touchdown run for the senior, Terry Sullivan. And now they'll try the extra point here.
And you really got to see the full package there from Lindsey Scott on that drive, both throwing the ball in rhythm and running it as well.
Ashton Bastido on the extra point try, but let's see, looks like we might have a flag. Bastido 56 of 61 on extra point tries this year. Well, you fumble the ball twice, but yet you still go 98 yards and score. You're living right if you're Zachary, right?
Yeah, or lucky. Very.
Some lucky bounces there. Put a man in motion on the extra point. And here is it never even got above the waist of the offensive line. So a missed extra point. And Zachary's on the board, though, 6-0. 4:13 left to go in the first quarter. Terry Sullivan gets into the end zone for the Broncos on the Cox 4 Game of the Week. Six to nothing as Zachary gets on the scoreboard first here on the Cox 4 Game of the Week. Glad you could join us.
See a good look at Coach Chris Carrier there. He's spent time at several high schools. Down here at Zachary, he's got his son on the team, who's also about 6'4" and 215 pounds. A lot of people probably remember Chris Carrier from his LSU days, and also played a little bit in the NFL.
Zachary kicking off after that Gary Lewis property scoring drive that was capped off by the touchdown run by Terry Sullivan. And we'll see Parkway back out there offensively. Out to kick here is Martel Fontenot for Zachary. Fontenot comes up to the kick, and it's another squib kick, and it's going to be recovered, this time by Chase Hill. Chase Hill is shoved out of bounds at the 43-yard line.
And you may be at home wondering, what's wrong with Martell Fontenot's leg? Nothing. He's doing that intentionally. He can actually kick the ball very deep. We've seen him make long kickoffs, but they don't want number one to touch the football, and that's C.J. Morgan, who could be one of the fastest people on the field tonight.
So 1st and 10 at the 43. Keandre Woodtee sees the field very well, can hurt you with his leg. Really just tall, quick, and there you see him. And did he lose the ball there at the end? He may have, but he somehow collects it again and gets a first down.
Wow, we're seeing some loose footballs.
I tell you what, it is. It's got to be the chilly weather here, and the slick. That ball must be slick because of it.
And I also bet there's a little nerves mixed in too, Jeff. Everybody knows this is the one that gets you to the Superdome.
There you look at that Gary Lewis property scoring drive, 98 yards. And this is a run by C.J. Morgan. Morgan can do it all for this Parkway team. He's good at running the football. He had 3 touchdown catches versus Acadiana in the second round. He also threw a touchdown pass against Acadiana. He's just so dangerous in the open field, 4.55 speed. And we're seeing a lot of him and Woodtee tonight, your 2 Division I prospects. Woodtee flings another one, and it's knocked out of there. They try to get it to Terrace Marshall, who's going to be an absolute superstar when it's all said and done, if he isn't already.
Yeah, and just a sophomore, but again, that one was a little low and inside, but I tell you what, Woodtee's really got some stuff on that football, the velocity on that football that he throws.
Shiron White there defensively for Zachary. 3rd down and 4. Woodtee has time to throw, steps up in the pocket, now has to get out of there. Looking for somebody, and did he make the grab on the far sidelines? No, he did not. Kendall Brown was the man they tried to get the football to. And it's 4th down, and Parkway will likely go for it again.
Yeah, I would think so down here. And remember last time, 4th and about 6 or 7, they kept it in Woodtee's hands, and he did it himself with his legs. Not far to go here, about 3 yards, and so now Zachary's got to be looking out for the quarterback run as well here.
Just over 3 minutes to go in this first quarter with Zachary up 6-0 over Parkway. Woodtee will hand it off as they run an end around. Robert McKnight is brought down. Great tackle by P.J. Cannon. Shy of the first down. And this Zachary defense has come to play.
Well, P.J. Cannon is their all-star on defense. He does it all. He can cover. He can make tackles. And you can see here, this is the 2nd straight time that Zachary defense has come up big on 4th down, stopping Parkway. And here is just a great tackle by P.J. Cannon in the open field. He either makes that tackle or that first down is going to be picked up.
Well, you talked about Chris Carrier. He compares P.J. Cannon to Tyrann Mathieu, and that was a very Tyrann Mathieu Honey Badger type play.
And that's because he can do it all on defense. He can blitz, he can tackle, he can cover.
Here's Doug Coleman. Coleman gets sandwiched by a couple of Parkway defenders and gets 3 yards on the play. Under 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. And so far, Zachary's defense has been huge. They've forced a turnover. They had a goal line stand. They stop him here. I'm sure everybody was anticipating a lot of points to be scored, and you know these 2 defenses have been listening to that, hearing about that, and they want to come out here and play tonight. Play really well, too. Scott will flip it out to Coleman, who somehow grabs that high pass, and he'll lose a couple of yards. There's Greg Jones, who had an interception against Acadiana. I was watching a little tape on Parkway, and Greg Jones, this guy gets all over the field, Jason. He is unbelievable, very tough to stop. Again, just 6 foot, 200 pounds. Not a physical specimen out there, but his athletic ability is really uncanny.
And he's a football player, as you can see on that last play, snuffing that out. And that time, Lindsey Scott let that ball float on him a little bit. And as you mentioned, Greg Jones was able to snuff that out and make a big play.
We'll call this 3rd down and 6. They got to get to the 47-yard line. Scott pump fakes, screen pass over the middle, and it is snuffed out. Nice job. That is a great play by the Parkway defender, as that was David Morales, a sophomore linebacker, only 5'7", makes a heck of a play, and Zachary will have to punt.
Yeah, another one of those key defensive players you mentioned. On paper, they don't grade out to be the biggest football players, but they just make plays. They snuffed out that screen there, and now Zachary's going to be forced to punt the football.
Harrison Hopkins ready to return the punt from Martel Fontenot. Fontenot, it's a fake, and it's executed perfectly. It's a first down for the Broncos and much more. Way into Parkway territory to the 33-yard line. Oh, David Brewerton reaches into the trick bag and comes up with a big play. On the carry there was Donovan Perkins, the All-State linebacker, makes a huge play and a big first down.
Well, Coach Weiner was his mentor, so you know he's got a bunch of trick plays, and you saw one there, and you know what he's thinking is, we need to try to steal a few extra possessions. Our defense is playing well right now. Let's try to get an extra possession. It's going to take a lot of points to win this football game.
They run a draw here, and there's some running room for Terry Sullivan. He gets banged down at the 25-yard line. He was tackled by Lloyd Cole, the senior. Free safety, but a nice pickup on first down of 8 yards for Terry Sullivan. There you take a look at Coach David Feaster in his 5th season at Parkway. First ever coaching job was at Jennings in 1981. He grew up in Mamou, went to Mamou High School, got his degree at Louisiana Tech in mass education, and he has led Parkway on a 9-game winning streak and back into the semifinals of the high school football playoffs. Looking for their second trip to the Dome in 3 years. Sullivan is brought down right at the line of scrimmage, shy of the first down. A great tackle there by Kyler Morris.
Yeah, that was a big-time play there by Kyler Morris, sneaking in the backfield and getting Terry Sullivan before he could get those shoulders heading north-south and making a big play behind the line of scrimmage.
So after 1 quarter of play here at Zachary High School, the Broncos lead the Parkway Panthers 6-0. You're watching the Cox 4 Game of the Week, the Class 5A semifinals. The Cox 4 Game of the Week is brought to you by Louisiana Lift. At Louisiana Lift, we're always on call. And by ITI Technical College, your key to a better life. And by Peak Performance. At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat the athlete and everyone believe in better. Jeff Palermo, Jason DeQuere, Lara Ashley in our final Cox 4 Game of the Week of the year of 2015. And it's a great setting for high school football in northern East Baton Rouge Parish on a crisp, cool night in December. And the Zachary Broncos looking for their first ever trip to the 5A state championship game. They have it 3rd and 2 at the Parkway 25-yard line. Panthers showing blitz. Scott will run right into the teeth of it. And he got stopped right at the line of scrimmage.
That's going to be close.
Yeah, it's going to be 4th and 1. He was shut down. Nick So'oto, number 56, was right in the middle of that for Parkway. So 4th down, and it's going to be a long 1-2.
And obviously Zachary's going to go for this as well. I mean, you're just outside of field goal range, and if you punt it and it goes in the end zone, you only pick up about 4 yards. So really no harm in going for it here. You know, my guess is look for their key player, Lindsey Scott, to probably keep it again.
4th and 1. Scott looking, throws over the middle, and it's intercepted. What a great play defensively by Darius Bradford at the 5-yard line.
Well, this is one time where Lindsey just tried to do too much. You got to keep in perspective what the goal is, and it's to get a first down. And he clearly had plenty of real estate in front of him just to run a few yards and get the first down. I know he wanted to take the kill shot, but in big games like this, you got to worry about getting the first down first. And watch when he rolls out right here. There's plenty of real estate right there in front of him. He tries to force it downfield. Credit Parkway, makes an incredible play on the football, intercepts it, and another turnover in this football game.
So Parkway last week forced 7 turnovers in their win against Destrehan. They got 2 here tonight as they've been able to force Lindsey Scott to fumble the football and throw an interception. So earlier in this game, we saw Zachary go 98 yards and score a touchdown. Let's see what Parkway can do as they start this drive from their own 3. And they pitch it out to McKnight. And McKnight gets up to about the 9-yard line. Good start on this drive for Parkway and their offensive coordinator, who is Justin Scogan.
Well, and Parkway has done good getting the ball deep in their own territory to the 50-yard line, but once they start crossing the 50, they've been stalling, and, they've either been turning the football over, and Zachary has been really doing a good job of slowing them down a little bit, which is a tough task.
Morgan in the backfield with Woodsey. And it's going to be Morgan getting it, but he's being chased by a couple of Bronco defenders, puts his head down and gets hit hard at the 11-yard line. 2 yards shy of the first down, so a big third down coming up here for Parkway.
Yeah, and they look like Sharon White coming up in run support there, making a good key tackle, and really Zachary does a good job of stringing this play out, and then Sharon White coming up and finishing off, and here's going to be a big 3rd and 1 here for Parkway.
3rd down and 1. Woodsey actually gets underneath center on this. Now he'll check over to the sidelines. Has Morgan in the backfield with him. Barking out the signals to his Panther teammates. Woodsey keeps it. There's a gaping hole for him, and he is up to the 30-yard line. Big first down there for Parkway on 3rd down and short. Donovan Perkins makes the tackle, but not after about a 20-yard pickup there for the senior quarterback for the Panthers.
Well, and this is a great read here by Woodsey. Watch on the replay the read option with the running back, and he sees that gaping hole and exploits it. And this is the 2nd or 3rd time we've seen Woodsey actually do it with his legs and pick up valuable yardage for his football team.
Well, a team that loves to throw the football around. Really, their best plays offensively so far tonight have been Woodsey running with it. Under 10 minutes to go before halftime, and our score is still 6-0. A little bit shocking in a game where we anticipated both teams scoring over 40 points when it was all said and done.
Well, and when you have, 3 or 4 turnovers already in the football game, you can't score points when you're turning the football over.
All right, we're now set as the referee blows the play ready. Play action fake. Woodsey stumbles, throws deep, and it is almost intercepted. And right there defensively there for Zachary was Braylon Jones.
Yeah, Braylon Jones and P.J. Cannon underneath, and really, they just were playing center field. This ball never had a chance. It was underthrown by at least a good 5 or so yards, and a real opportunity there for Zachary to try to come up with that interception. Fortunate for Woodsey to get that one back.
2nd and 10, they pitch it out to Robert McKnight. McKnight's got a blocker ahead of him, and a great open field tackle, though, by P.J. Cannon. The 3-year starter makes a heck of a play there. He's got an offer from Louisiana College, but I tell you what, I might be able to play at a higher level than that. He's a heck of a football player, physical, one of the leaders in tackles on this team. So 3rd and long, Woodsey will run, and Woodsey's got a little room here, and I think he has enough for a first down. Gets a really good spot there. I don't think he got across the 42, but they're spotting him across the 42.
Yeah, this is going to be close. The far judge didn't look like he was going to have him short. I thought he was short from my vantage point, but they're moving the chains. And that's another time that Woodsey does it with his legs. It really hasn't been there through the air for him, and instead of getting too frustrated, he knows that he's got the running capabilities as well, and he's now, taking matters in his own hands and moving these chains with his legs.
A lot of stuff underneath the center here, and they hand it off, and look out, C.J. Morgan. C.J. Morgan stays on his feet. Morgan shoved out of bounds at the 28-yard line. Big pickup.
Well, C.J. Morgan is a difference maker, and both of these teams really have a difference maker. I would say that that's Douglas Coleman for Zachary and C.J. Morgan here for Parkway, and you can see why. He's strong, he's fast, he breaks tackles, and he's just a really good running back. good vision. You see him getting through the hole there and breaking that tackle, holding on to that football, avoiding the strip, and getting valuable yardage.
34-yard run. Woodsy under pressure. Dangerous pass. Somehow it was complete to Kendall Brown, but he doesn't go much further after catching it.
Yeah, that was kind of ugly from the start. Sort of a little underneath screen there that they tried to execute, but lucky that didn't end up worse for Parkway.
Parkway, just a few years ago, they were a 4A school, but as a 5A school, they've been really good. As Terrace Marshall making a nice play here on the wide receiver screen up to the 10-yard line, and we're starting to see some missed tackles. A pickup of 17 on a great run after the catch by Terrace Marshall.
Well, and you see a good look at Terrace Marshall, a great-looking sophomore, looks like a football player. You can see why he's going to be all-world. You get it out there to him in his hands, and what he can do in space, tough to bring down. And here Parkway going fast again.
Inside the Livingston Parish Convention and Visitors Bureau red zone on the carry, Robert McKnight. And McKnight is going to be marked out of bounds at the 4. So we saw a 98-yard touchdown drive for Zachary. Parkway trying to put the finishing touches on a 97-yard touchdown drive.
Yeah, very identical drives, except for Parkway. They've done most of their damage on this drive on the ground, and that's running it with Woodty.
And Feaster wanted to establish a running game, and he's done that here. Woodty keeps it. Woodty trying to get his big frame over there, and Zachary stands him up at the 1. Well, he's 6'5", but you get enough Broncos around him and make sure his arms can't get extended.
Well, and on that play, he was about 7'5" because they lifted him about a foot off the ground. Watch the end of it, but you're exactly right. Trying to get that big frame and extend it over, but Zachary knew that. They kept his arms in so he couldn't extend the ball, and you can see the host of them pick him up off the ground and drive him back.
3rd and goal. What an impressive drive this has been for the Panthers as they look to tie the football game up. Woodty pitches it to McKnight. McKnight has got the touchdown for the Panthers. We're all tied up at 6.
Well, that's a statement drive there for Parkway. At the outset of the game, the offense was struggling a little bit, wasn't in rhythm. Again, didn't do a whole lot through the air, but that running game with Woodty, McKnight, C.J. Morgan really came alive on this drive, and you can see here McKnight finishing it off with a couple of strong runs on this drive, and now Parkway with a chance to go up by 1 if they convert here.
Harrison Hopkins on the extra point, left-footed kicker, good pressure, but it is through the uprights, and Parkway has the lead. 7:16 to go before halftime. The Parkway Panthers on a 97-yard drive take its first lead of the ball game on the Cox 4 Game of the Week. 7-6 after that 97-yard touchdown scoring drive by the Parkway Panthers as they get on the board. Parkway, they played in South Louisiana last week and beat Destrehan in the semifinals 49-34. There is no doubt Parkway has had a tougher road to getting to where they're at than Zachary. I mean, they had to beat the 2-time defending champ. They had to beat a good Natchitoches Central team in the first round, and then they had to beat Destrehan last week, who was in the state championship game against Acadiana. So they faced the 2014 finalists in 5A. And for Zachary, their longest road trip was to Dutchtown, a district rival.
Well, there's no doubt both of these teams deserve to be here.
Oh, no doubt about that. This is going to be returnable from the 5-yard line. This is Coleman. Coleman, there's a flag down, and he'll eventually go down at around the 23-yard lines. Our sideline reporter, Laura Ashley, has a very special guest. Let's send it down to her.
Number 23.
That's right, guys. I have a Zachary High football mom, Miss Sonia Scott. Thank you for being here.
No problem.
I know you guys are so excited for the playoffs and everything.
Yes, we are. We're really excited.
Awesome. And I know a lot of things that you've definitely told your son about getting ready for the game.
Just play hard, have fun, and win.
So what does the playoffs mean for you guys, for Zachary High, for just the community itself?
Well, you know, we're trying to bring the first state championship to the area, and we want to be victorious points because last year we got stopped here. So we want to continue and go to the Dome.
And your son is, of course, Lindsey Scott. So how do you feel about him being awarded just recently the Gatorade Player of the Year?
We're proud. The family is proud. The friends are proud. And the Zachary Nation, we're all proud of him. He's had a lot of hard work, and it's showing in his awards.
Awesome. We're definitely proud of him and excited for him for tonight. So definitely go Broncos. We're excited about the game. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Well, that's a very proud mother.
You think, it's always good when you see all that hard work, pay off. And, that means all the way from Little League and practices and encouragement and then the classroom. And he does well in the classroom. He's got a proud set of parents. And, I mean, what a tremendous award to win when you're awarded. It's the Heisman for high school is really what it is,
right. So 2nd down and 7. Deshaun Capers-Smith won it last year. The year before that, it was Leonard Fournette. Quick pass out to the far side, and Parkway's got Zachary now facing 3rd and long.
My prediction, I don't know if you remember this, but I said Lindsey had a real good shot at winning this award this year. If he did those things on the field and got his team deep in the playoffs, he was able to do that. But now and here, they're backed up 3rd and 6 in their own territory, so they're going to need Mr. Scott to perform on this play here.
Still another important award to give out, and that is Mr. Football in the state of Louisiana. We'll find out who wins that a little bit later on. 3rd down and 6. Scott needs to make a play, and incomplete pass. Juggling it, just unable to bring it in was R.J. Newton. And so a 3 and out, Jason.
And you see Lindsey Scott frustrated because that throw there was on him. He's got to settle down. You talk about the awards, the accolades. Normally, Lindsey makes these throws in rhythm where the receiver can catch it and turn upfield. He actually a little off target. It forced the receiver to come back to the football and try to make a difficult catch. Even if he had made the catch, trouble getting upfield. But you see Coach Brewer in there telling his most valuable player, hey, settle down with a lot of football.
Look out. Did they get a piece of it? They certainly did. A block punt, as that was great job by Parkway to get in there and block it. And the momentum has certainly shifted in this game in favor of the Panthers.
Well, you talk about old Mo, and you never know when it's going to show up, but it's definitely showed up here for Parkway. And, just when it looked like everything was going right for Zachary, a fake punt and conversion, now all of a sudden an interception, Parkway, 90-yard drive, block punt, and they're right back in business with a chance here to put more points up.
Inside the Livingston Parish Convention and Visitors Bureau. Red zone, this drive starts. Woodsey rolling out. Woodsey fires, has a man, touchdown, Panthers, just like that.
Wow, how quick is that? And, again, momentum shifts in a hurry, and Parkway can score in a hurry, and that looked like Elijah Rivers getting in there on the pass from Woodsey. Very sharp pass there, as you can see here. Rivers frees himself up on the little rollout by Woodsey. And watch how he just fires that ball in there. Nobody in front of him able to walk into the end zone.
Extra point try coming up here by Harrison Hopkins, and now Parkway will just throw one up. It's going to be a knockdown, and you can't return it, so they defend the 2-point conversion. And so with 5:37 to go before halftime, it's now a 13-6 ball game. But Parkway has scored 2 quick touchdowns, and they got the lead midway through the second quarter on the Cox 4 Game of the Week. Cox 4 wants to thank Louisiana Lift for their support of this telecast, specializing in customer service on equipment, rental, parts, and training. Louisiana Lift has been serving its customers since 1980. Check them out online at lalift.com or call their Baton Rouge area office at area code 225-753-5700. So a quick turn of events here. Zachary was up 6-0, but all of a sudden, Parkway has a 7-point lead. Coleman gets up to the 27-yard line before he's brought down. Let's send it back down to the field. Laura Ashley has another special guest.
That's right, guys. I have, of course, the quarterback for the LSU, Brandon Harris, who is here for his old alma mater, Parkway. Thank you so much for being here.
No problem.
So, of course, how does this feel to see your team out here tonight?
Yeah, this is the second time I got the opportunity to watch them play. I got to see them probably 4 weeks ago on our bye week. But it's exciting, man. You know, you get the opportunity to come watch your alma mater play, and obviously this is a matchup against two great quarterbacks and two great teams, so I'm excited to watch.
And what are some of the players on Parkway side that you've been definitely keeping tabs on?
Yeah, Keandre, he was under me for 2 seasons, and he's done a fantastic job replacing me. I don't even think they know who I am anymore, but you got TJ Morgan, you got, Terrence Marshall, you got Kendall Brown, you got a lot of those talented guys out there, and they've taken the reins over from the guys that were there when I was there, and I think they've done a great job.
So you think they're half as good as how you were back then?
I think they're better, pound for pound for skill. I think they're a better team than we were. I mean, they got a great skill talent around him, and Fisher does a great job of developing talent over there at Parkway, and they're going to continue to roll as long as he's there, and probably way beyond when he's gone. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here for us. Definitely. Back to you guys.
Great to hear Brandon Harris, and it's always fun to see, the LSU players hanging out on the sidelines watching their alma mater play.
Well, and I had a few minutes to visit with him before the game, and he had nothing but great things to say about his replacement at the quarterback position.
Scott got a man open, and that's going to be a touchdown, Broncos! Shiren White got past the defense. And I think the track meet has started. Maybe a little late, but I think the track meet is underway.
Yeah, we know both of these teams can put up a lot of points in a hurry. And you can see here, they let Shiren White run free. Lindsey Scott on the rollout, and just like that, a one-play drive. Big strike here by Lindsey Scott. Now you can see his ability to throw the ball on the run, which is why Syracuse is so interested in him. And just perfectly in stride, one-play drive there, back in the end zone. Zachary with the chance to at least tie this football game.
Aaron Rodgers-like, rolling out like that and throwing it right in the perfect spot for a touchdown. And the extra point is good, and Zachary regains the lead. Shiren White, his previous long was 50 yards, but Lindsey Scott winds up for the 61-yard touchdown pass to Shiren White. We're tied up at 13. Cox 4 Game of the Week is brought to you by the Livingston Parish Economic Development Council, reminding you that Livingston Parish is the place to be. And by Ponda's Barbecue, slow cooked, fall off the bone perfection, and the best baked beans in America. And by Monogram Express, we make ordinary gifts extraordinary. 13-13. The scoring got off to a bit of a slow start in this game, as it was only 6-0 after the first quarter, but now it's picked up here in the second quarter. Fontenot has it teed up. And an end-over-end kick. It's going to be returnable from the 16-yard line. And slipping and falling is the returner at the 28-yard line. As that was Robert McKnight, who has a touchdown run in this game. All right, let's see what Zachary's done here defensively. They gave up the 97-yard touchdown drive. Then they gave up the quick scoring strike after the block punt. Let's see if any kind of adjustments they made.
Well, they've sort of taken away, eliminated a lot of the passing game, and that's why Woodsy's done it by his legs. And, of course, they had the short field situation and was able to score there. But for the most part, Zachary's played defense pretty well against him.
Quick pass here. Bad pass, though, to C.J. Morgan, 2nd and 10. Woodsy might have rushed that one a little bit. There's a look at David Feaster. I was talking about this earlier. I don't know if there's a team in the state of Louisiana that has improved as fast as Parkway has in a short period of time. We just heard from Brandon Harris. He's a big reason why Parkway, which was just a 4A school, now they're a dominant 5A school. They've won their District 3 years in a row. State championship finalist in 2013. One game away from getting back there again this season. It's just a really quality program up in Northwest Louisiana.
Well, and as long as you're producing Brandon Harris's and Keandre Woodtees, you're always going to be in a successful situation.
3rd down and 3. Quick pass, and it's going to be brought down quickly. C.J. Morgan caught it, and he was brought down. Donovan Perkins and a couple of other Broncos were there, and he loses a few yards on the play, and it's 4th down. We'll see what Parkway decides to do. Well, are they going to go for it? I think they are, or at least act like they're going to go for it. 4th down and 6. The fans rise to their feet on the Zachary sidelines. Woodsy taking his time here. 6 seconds on the play clock. Woodsy, what do we have? Do we got a timeout? I think Parkway does call timeout.
Yeah, they need to think about this. I mean, personally, I'm punting the football down here. You're backed up in your own territory, 3 minutes left of the half. You got a tie football game. It's 4th and 6. I mean, it's not 4th and inches or 4th and 1. It's 4th and 6. Obviously, they get a timeout and want to think about it, but this is critical at this point in the half.
We'll take a break. We'll find out what Parkway wants to do when we come back here on the Cox Sport Game of the Week. So it still looks like Parkway's going to go for it on 4th and 6 from their own 33-yard line.
This is a lot of confidence in your offense and a lot of confidence in your quarterback.
They'll hand it off to Morgan. Morgan looking for a block. He's got the 1st down. What a run by C.J. Morgan.
Wow, I mean, we talk about the riverboat gambler, but here, and you don't even go to the air. You take a chance running the football, a player down here for Zachary, as you can see here, and there's a flag on the field. So it looks like, even though a great play there by C.J. Morgan, it may be all for naught and maybe coming back here, Jeff.
And now a flag flies after, as a result of somebody saying something to one of the officials, Randy Donald.
Well, that was the head coach, David Feaster. He's losing his composure over there. He's got his ball cap off, and he is just giving it to these officials, as you can see there.
We have 2 fouls on the play. We have an illegal motion this way. Then we have a dead ball, unsportsmanlike, this way. Both will be enforced.
So they'll back him up 20 yards, and David Feaster is still hot.
Well, he was almost out there in the middle of the football field, and he was just upset on that call on that 4th down conversion, and he was just giving it to the officials. And they just said, hey, that's too much, threw the flag, and now they're going to be forced to punt it and really backed up deep in their own territory.
Harrison Hopkins will be standing at his own goal line as the ball has been spotted at the 14-yard line. No one really back deep for Zachary, but Hopkins' last punt didn't go very far. And end-over-end punt here, and this is going to turn out really good for Parkway. Really good. Wow, how about flipping the field all the way to the 25-yard line? Well, that's impressive there. That is a 61-yard punt.
And I don't get it. I mean, I guess maybe they misjudged how far he could kick the football, because when you have a chance to get valuable field position like that, why would you not put somebody back there to catch the ball? But you're right, Jeff. They were not very deep. He doesn't kick it far, but he was able to kick it over their heads. And when that happens, that ball can get that roll, and it turns into this 60-yard punt and completely flips the field position.
1st and 10 at the 26-yard line now. They'll run the football, and look at this, Terry Sullivan. And did he lose the football? I think he did. It's Parkway's ball. Another turnover for Zachary. Coming up with the fumble recovery for Parkway was Kyler Morris. Or are they now saying, nope, it is Parkway's ball.
Well, let's see if we can see if Terry Sullivan is down. Look for the football to come out and see where that knee may be.
That's a good call.
The football is out. Yeah, the football is out. It was, couldn't really see with his arm there, but you could see that towards the end that as he was falling forward, that football was out. That is a good call by the officials, and another costly turnover by Zachary.
3 turnovers, right? Let's see who popped that ball out. But, yeah, it comes out before his elbow is down.
Yeah, because you can see the ball's not there.
Robert McKnight, a spin move, buys him a couple of yards before he's escorted out of bounds at the 37 or 38-yard line.
Well, each time Zachary looks like the momentum's going to switch back to them. They back them up, all the penalties, chance to get good field position, and then they turn the football over. And so you just can't do this. I guarantee you that is what Coach Brewerton is going to address here at the half is these turnovers.
Woodsy. And they hand it off, and not much doing here. How about the fact that Parkway, a team that throws the football all over the field, has become a run-heavy attack here tonight?
Well, if you look at the line of scrimmage by Zachary, oftentimes they're only playing with 3 down linemen, and they're trying to cover in this sort of zone concept these passing lanes for Woodsy. So really, what he's got to do is just take what the defense is giving him, and you can see here only 3 down linemen again.
Woodsy keeps it after 2 fakes to Hopkins, just a little bit too far. Wow.
Well, they set this up beautifully because they have been able to run the football, and when you start running the football, you can start doing some of this play-action stuff, and you can see Hopkins was able to free up, and this one just got away from Woodsy a little bit, but it looked like Hopkins still had a chance to potentially make a play. Too many people watching Odell Beckham going up with one hand.
Brewerton's got the visor off. You know he's not happy when that occurs. Woodsy's got a man wide open. Touchdown, Panthers. Terrace Marshall on 4th down, 36 yards.
Well, this is just blown coverage. I don't know what happened here. Miscommunication with Douglas Coleman and that Zachary secondary, because literally there was nobody. I mean, nobody around Terrace Marshall. He lines up wide, runs the go route, and Woodsy sees him, and look, watch, there's nobody within 30 yards of him. And that's just blown coverage there by Zachary. Very costly.
7 touchdown catches in the playoffs now for Marshall. And the extra point is good. And Parkway, with 1:41 to go before halftime, has a 20-13 lead. So the 3 turnovers here for Zachary, they've hurt. There's no doubt about that.
Well, yeah, and both of these teams have turned it over, but Zachary really has turned it over in some critical areas, and including that block punt. I mean, that block punt led Parkway to another one of their scores, and so that's why you see that visor off by David Brewerton. You cannot win football games, nevertheless, playoff football games against the talent level of a Parkway by turning the football over.
Let's take a look at the Class 5A bracket while we have a minute here. So Parkway last week, as we told you before, knocked off Desterhan 49-34. Zachary defeated Hahnville, so the winner of tonight's game will face the winner of our other game on the Cox 4 game of the week down in New Orleans, John Ehret and Mandeville. We saw John Ehret a couple weeks ago really beat up on Live Oak.
Yeah, John Ehret's loaded. They got a lot of talent. If they can just play, fundamental football and get rid of penalties, they're going to have a good chance in that game.
By the way, Parkview Baptist, they have won the Division II state championship. Oh, here's a big return by Coleman. He's got to get past the kicker, and he can't. Out of bounds at the 42. But just to finish it up on Parkview Baptist, they have won the state championship in Division II. So that is 2 for 2 for Baton Rouge schools today in the state championship. So can your alma mater make it 3 for 3 against Rummel tonight?
Let's not even talk about that yet. The blood pressure rises, and I'm just glad that they're able to get there, but they've got to finish one off. But kudos to Parkview Baptist and that senior quarterback. I'm so happy for him.
Reggie Hayes, by the way, was named most outstanding player of the game for Parkview Baptist. All right, Lindsey Scott running and has to just get out of bounds. So a minute 25 here. The clock definitely an issue. I believe Zachary's got. Let's see if they got the timeouts on the scoreboard. They got all 3 timeouts.
Jeff, the clock is no issue. They could score 2 touchdowns, these teams, in a minute and 25. So that clock is not an issue. What is an issue is execution, okay? You have to execute if you're Zachary, and you can't turn the football over. But they've got enough skilled players on that team to get that football down the field in a minute and 25 seconds.
2nd down and 5 for Scott. Scott will keep it, and he made a great decision there because Terry Sullivan got hit behind the line of scrimmage, and Scott is into Parkway territory.
And you can see Brewerton in no panic. They're even running the football, but this is a senior club. Lindsey Scott running this 2-minute offense as well as anybody can do it in high school football. They can run the football because he knows he can get them back up to line of scrimmage and get the play called.
43-yard line. Scott looking downfield. All kinds of pressure. Spins away from it. Here comes some more pressure. And we'll just have to fight to live another day as he steps out of bounds. Loses a couple of yards to the 45. And that clock now just above a minute left.
Well, he made great moves here in the pocket, and again, you know, he wanted to be a little cautious with the football. He has thrown an interception, but Syracuse, Donovan McNabb, moves in the pocket. I mean, but the thing about it is, he still continues to keep his eyes down the football field. That's what makes him impressive. He's not just looking to escape and run. He's looking for one of those receivers.
Tarver Semaj there on the stop. Scott will keep it after faking a pitch, and he's got nothing but green grass and glory ahead of him. Touchdown, Broncos!
Well, I tell you that
a flag down.
Oh, my
flag
goodness.
down.
But the time on this clock is no issue, and you can see why. I mean, they can score in a hurry, and that time you saw how electrifying Lindsey Scott can be running the football. But this is going to be one of those things. I bet you that visor comes off again, Jeff.
Big holding penalty.
Holding on the offense, number 64, 10 yards from the spot of the foul, remains 2nd down.
Well, Dominique Holden and David Brewerton does not like that at all.
But you talk about being so good running the football, breaking tackles. I told you the strength and physicality of Lindsey is just a wonder to watch, and then he's got the speed, just the whole package. Unfortunately, a yellow hanky on the field.
2nd down now, the ball back on Zachary's side of the 50. Scott will take a look at the Parkway defense here. He's got 3 wide receivers to his right, and they'll just keep it on the ground here to Terry Sullivan up to the 48-yard line. Zachary will use one of its timeouts. 48 seconds left to go before half.
Well, you can see here 3rd and a mile, but, you know, they don't have to get it all on this play. My guess is if they get somewhere close to picking up that 1st down, that they could likely go for it on 4th down, particularly with only about 48 seconds left in the half. So, you know, you obviously want to pick it all up, but you might be thinking 2 downs to get this 1st down as well.
Hey, 3rd and long coming up here for Zachary. Coming up at halftime, it will be our Louisiana Farm Bureau Insurance halftime show as we'll recap this first half, have some interviews with some special guests. David Feaster has to feel good. His team is up by a touchdown. Hoping his defense can make another big play here. They've already forced 3 turnovers after forcing 7 last week. Last week, Zachary had 586 yards of offense, did not punt in their win over Hanville, 55-27. Scott rolling to his right, and he'll just have to throw it away, basically, as there was all kinds of pressure on him by Kyler Morris.
This time I thought he had a shot at trying to get that ball in behind to Douglas Coleman. He was running that fly route down the field, but obviously Lindsey being a little conservative there, not wanting to make any mistakes with the football, and It looks like Zachary's going to go into punt formation here.
Yeah, Martel Fontenot will punt it away, standing at his own 39-yard line. No one is back to return this. Remember, last time Zachary lined up in punt formation, they faked it and picked up a first down. This is about 4th down and 16, though. Fontenot gets it away, and it takes a Parkway bounce, and they got good field position here. Decent field position, anyways, with 35 seconds. Well, yesterday we saw, the Green Bay Packers go about 70 yards in 20 seconds, so.
And this Parkway offense could probably do the same. And so, I would suspect Zachary is going to go in this somewhat prevent. And what I mean by that is they don't want to give up the deep ball, don't want to let any of these wide receivers get behind him. Okay, if we give up that underneath, that 10-yard route, but you can't let one of these guys get deep behind you.
Well, they run the ball there and nothing doing with C.J. Morgan. And let's see, are they going to call timeout? Clock is ticking, and I'm looking at David Feaster. Looks like he's ready to take it into the locker room.
Well, he's frustrated over there too, but his team is up, and this is unusual. I mean, for a team that goes for it on 4th down around this area, it's strange that they're going to let the time run off and just be comfortable going to halftime.
An exciting first half, just like we expected. The Parkway Panthers leading at 20-13 over the Zachary Broncos. As Zachary will try to regroup here. They got to take care of the football. Both teams have had their mistakes turnover-wise on special teams. Has been a big role in this game. I think the most surprising development is that Parkway, they've been doing it offensively for the most part on the ground. Now, granted, long touchdown pass to Terrace Marshall. Woodtee has 2 touchdown passes in this game. But when they had the 97-yard drive, that was mainly through on the ground. Let's take it down to the field.
Hey, I'm here with Zachary's coach. Good first half so far, Coach.
You think so?
Definitely. I feel like your players are definitely putting their heads in there. What do you think they have to do for the second half to definitely put their hearts out there and win for the championship?
I think we're playing with good effort. I don't think we're executing very well. We're putting the ball on the ground, which is not characteristic of our offense, and that's something we got to fix at halftime.
And definitely with players like Lindsey Scott, who are putting it out there and everything, what are some things that you have told some of your players? What are some things that you told some of your players that they need to put out there and do and put their best in?
Well, I just think it's a matter of holding on to the football and executing a whole lot better. We just had a touchdown call back on the last drive right there. Put the ball on the ground in the red zone. Those things can't happen. You can't win titles like that.
Of course. Well, thank you so much and good luck for the rest of the.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks a lot to Coach David Brewerton, and I'm sure he'll be telling his team, hey, got to stop the mistakes here in order to pull off a victory. The Parkway Panthers, they lead the Zachary Broncos at halftime. Our Louisiana Farm Bureau Insurance halftime show when we come back here on the Cox Ford Game of the Week. It's time now for the Louisiana Farm Bureau Insurance halftime show as the Parkway Panthers leading the Zachary Broncos 20-13. A good football game. 5A semifinals. The winner will advance to play in the 5A championship game next Saturday night in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Let's send it down to the field. Jason Fred has a very special guest with him.
Louisiana State Fiddle Champion, our very own James Linden Hogg. He's 15. He's here. How you doing?
I'm doing quite well, Mr. Jason.
It feels like Christmas, and you got some good gigs this weekend. Tell us about it.
Yes, sir. Tomorrow, Saturday, we're going to be playing for the Salvation Army out at Perkins Row. And Sunday, which I really want to talk about, is what's going on at the LSU Rural Life Museum on Essen Lane. They're having a 19th century Christmas. So many crafts, and they've got candle making, soap making, a lot of the historic trades, and just what Christmas was like in Louisiana a long time ago.
Okay, so you play about 12 instruments besides fiddle. You got a banjo. Take us out with a song to commercial.
All right. How about Joy to the World? Joy to the world, our Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him new. And heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Merry Christmas.
We'll be right back on the Cox 4 Game of the Week.
Parkway Panthers leading the Zachary Broncos 20-13 as we continue with the Louisiana Farm Bureau Insurance halftime show. Let's send it down to the field as Laura has both principals from these two great schools standing by.
Hi, I have Zachary High's own principal and Parkway's athletic director here with me. Thank you guys, of course, for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Sir, I know definitely you guys have done a lot of stuff around here for the last 2 years and everything. What's some of the things that we can look forward to for the Zachary community?
We have upgraded our facility. You're standing on a brand new track. Our football field is brand new. We just replaced that. Our kids are very appreciative. So this year when we started school, I told them we were going to try to change your mindset, get into service. And we've got a lot of service projects. Right now we've got Toys for Tots going on. Our junior class has adopted a nursing home. We're just doing a lot of things out in the community. We're very strong academically. We've been the #1 school district in the state of Louisiana the last 13 years, and I also think it's important to give back. So our kids are working on service projects and doing all they can to show their appreciation back to the community.
Awesome, and of course it's perfect time for the Christmas holiday.
Amen.
Amazing. And so for the athletic director for Parkway, what are some of the procedures that you guys go through to get these players ready, set, and go for the field?
Well, it's really a year-round program. We have a comprehensive weightlifting program where we start at the end of school. We work all the way through the summer with all of our athletes. Our principal has set up a situation in which we can lift during each school block. Each sport has a lifting block that they can go through, and we carry that through an off-season program. And we'll lift and condition all the way through our in-season program as well. So it's really helped us, our football program, grow to a level in the state where we can compete and hopefully go to the Dome and do some things like that, like we've been able to do the last few years.
Awesome. Of course, the players look good and fit and ready in shape, of course, for the game for tonight. So thank you both for being here. Of course, in this chilly weather. Let's take a look back at our snapback for the week.
Here tonight, Jason. It's tremendous. Two great football teams, two teams that had very successful seasons. For the slant, has his man, touchdown.
On the outside, bust out of the pocket, throws it up for the end zone, caught.
Touchdown. 20-13 at halftime. Both teams are back out on the field warming up. We've had a lot of great sponsors here on the Cox 4 Game of the Week. One of them is Cricket Wireless, and Laura Ashley standing by, one of their representatives, Chris Palmer, right now.
I have Chris Palmer here, who's actually an alum of Zachary High, so I know it's definitely a big game for you, of course.
Definitely a big game. Definitely getting further than we got. So.
And of course, with Cricket, we sell some of the services and products that you guys provide.
Basically, we're a wireless, no contract carrier. We provide all the phones for a very low monthly price.
So anyone can get it, no matter what. And where's some of the locations that some people can come?
We have a location right down the road in Baker, but we have several locations popping up in the Baton Rouge area.
So basically anyone can get it. Whenever you're ready, definitely come to Chris Palmer. Back to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Laura. So David Brewerton and the Zachary Broncos are back out on the field. They will get the ball to begin the second half. Parkway, they just realized, hey, they were down in Destrehan last week. They pulled off the victory. Now just 24 minutes for them.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're up in this football game, and again, this is a road game for Parkway, and a lot of things didn't go right for them in the first half and still managed to get out of the half with a 7-point lead. And look, Coach Bruton's over there thinking, look, if we can just turn the football, if we can just hold on to the football, we should have been up, and that's what he was preaching to his team. If you want to get to the dome, you got to take care of the details, and those details are protecting the football.
Also, we're going to have to remember that penalty that negated the long touchdown run by Lindsey Scott. That was a huge play there that took 6 points off the board for Zachary.
Yeah, almost like a turnover. You get that penalty, backs them up, takes the points off the board, and they have to punt it. So exactly right.
Now, if you're Zachary, be on the lookout here for an onside kick. I don't think Parkway will do it here, up by 7. Maybe if they were down by 7, this would be a time to bring out the
and a lot
of kick.
But you're right. You want to be protecting because when you don't think a team is going to do it, that's sometimes when they're more likely to pull it off. And remember, Zachary was able to steal a possession on a fake punt that really nobody was expecting earlier in the first half. So you just got to be alert and be ready.
This should be a lot of fun. It was an exciting first half. And now both teams back out there. Zachary averaging 41 points a game offensively. They've scored 144 points in the 3 playoff games. They're going to have to get it going here offensively, taking care of the ball, limiting or cutting out penalties. Harrison Hopkins is going to tee it up for Parkway.
And you know what, Jeff, I noticed about Parkway, I don't know if you picked this up, but the football that they kick off with, you can see right there, looks like an NFL football. It doesn't have any stripes on it, so I guess it's one of these special
and there's the
balls.
onside kick, and it goes out of bounds. So David Feaster still decides to roll the dice, try to steal a possession. That ball had a little mustard on it. Nobody can get their hands on it. And Zachary's going to have outstanding field position to begin play here in the second half.
Yeah, we were just debating that. And, you know, a lot of times when you don't think it's going to come is when it does. And that ball was just kicked too hard and squibbled out of bounds. And you can see here that different-looking football on the kickoffs and really popped off of one of the helmets and got out of bounds.
Lloyd Cole, it hit off of his helmet. You got to determine exactly where they're going to place the football here. They're going to put it at the 48. Not exactly sure. I guess they're determining that's where it hit a Parkway player, but it actually hit Cole when he was on the 50-yard line. But regardless, it's a tough. You don't really have an official standing there, so it's hard for an official to determine exactly the spot after it hit off a Parkway player.
And great field position for Zachary to start this opening drive in the second half.
Final half of, and look at this, Terry Sullivan, a big run right up the middle to the 33-yard line. That's the way you start off a second half if you're Zachary, a 15-yard run to their senior running back. Sullivan and Scott playing their final half of football here at Bronco Stadium.
Well, and ironically, both teams are really finding success on that ground game. I mean, you're expecting these teams to come out and have huge plays through the air, but here, those holes open up, and Terry Sullivan is just a great running back, a big bruising running back.
Darius Bradford, the tackle, and on the carry here is up to the 28-yard line. Gets about 6 or 5 there for Lindsey Scott. 3.76 GPA. Member of the Zachary Beta Club, does a lot of youth mentoring. Just an absolute hard worker is Lindsey Scott.
And where's the best number you could ever wear? 18. That was my number, Jeff.
2nd and 5. I thought you were going to say you're a Peyton Manning fan.
Yeah.
Well, there's another one of those procedure penalties.
Well, this is what's shooting him in the foot.
Yeah.
You know?
So a 5-yard penalty backs him up after picking up about 5 yards on the first down play. So all of a sudden, 2nd down and 10.
And they want to continue to run the football. I'm down there talking with some of the Zachary folks, and they say, hey, we can run the football. But when you get behind the chains, it changes what you want to do. And so let's see if they stay with the run here on 2nd down where they've had some success.
Scott surveys the Parkway defense. He'll look to his left. No one open, so he runs to his right. Throws while on the run, and one hops the intended receiver, Doug Coleman. Well, you were talking to Lindsey Scott's father at halftime. How about Doug Coleman? His dad is in the Semi-Pro Hall of Fame. Never knew there was a Hall of Fame for the semi-pro.
But, you know, when you're in the Hall of Fame, no matter what it is, that means you're good at something. And so, obviously, some good blood running through those veins there.
What a three-headed monster it's been the last 3 years at Zachary between Scott, Sullivan, and Doug Coleman. 3rd down and 10 for Scott. Scott looks to his right, now decides to run, and there's room for him to run. Puts his head down and hit just shy of the 1st down. Looks like we got a 4th down play coming up, and about a yard to go. Broncos getting right back up to the line of scrimmage here.
And Jared Hamilton for Parkway, you'll see on this replay, he really comes up and delivers one heck of a blow as Lindsey Scott was trying to get beyond those chains. A great tackle there by Hamilton, and obviously Zachary Noun in that 4th and short situation.
Fans from Zachary on their feet here. A big pickup the Broncos need on this 4th down and 1. Scott will run it, and he's got the 1st down and more. Touchdown, Broncos!
And no flags on this one, and obviously Scott here on the short yardage situation sees that crease in the defense, and when that defense gets flat right there at the line of scrimmage, oftentimes if you can break that first wave, which is what he does, everybody's playing for the run. There is nobody back there in the secondary, and Lindsey Scott's able to just walk right in. Zachary strikes the board first here in the second half, a chance to tie this football game up, and Brewerton couldn't be happier the way that his team has started this second half.
Ashton Bastido on the extra point try here. And it is through the uprights to tie the game. Lindsey Scott looked surprised once he broke through the line of scrimmage that there were no defenders there, as he walks into the end zone from 24 yards out, and we're all tied up at 20 on the Cox 4 game of the week. The Cox 4 game of the week is brought to you by Brian Harris Chevy. If you want a super used car, go to a super used car dealer, the Brian Harris Used Car Super Center on Florida. And by Lake Riggs, president of Livingston Parish, one of the fastest growing parishes in Louisiana, with vast opportunities for families to grow and flourish. And by Louisiana Lift. At Louisiana Lift, we're always on call. 20-20 is our score after that touchdown run by Lindsey Scott. So Scott has ran one in. He threw one as well to Shiron White. And Terry Sullivan has the other touchdown run for Zachary tonight. The kickoff, and it's going to be returned from the 16. Bobbled, though. Picking it up is Robert McKnight. And McKnight is, well, so he's still going down the sidelines, or that was another fumble, and a Parkway player is just flying down the sidelines, because that's not McKnight with it.
No, that's Greg Jones, I think, number 9.
No,
I
that's
believe
Kendall Brown,
number 8. Couldn't see the number. And you're right, McKnight looked like he was tackled. I did not see where the ball came loose, but you can see there Kendall Brown on the sideline all fired up, because he's able to pick that football up and get it down the field. Let's see here on the replay where this ball comes out.
And they're actually going to mark him, I guess, out of bounds at the 8-yard line.
There goes the fumble right there, and heads up play. Let's see where he steps out there.
They're going to say at the 48 of Zachary. So Keandre Woodsey and company back out there, and here comes Robert McKnight on the end around. McKnight holds on to the football that time, and he's very close to a first down. Might be just shy, as Parkway continues to run the football here against David Brewerton's defense. A couple weeks ago, Zachary held Dutch down to just 230 yards, but they are facing a dynamic offense that has its ground game going tonight. Woodsey on 2nd and 1, an offensive coordinator's dream, and he'll go deep, and it is knocked away. What a play by Doug Coleman, who had a couple of interceptions last week. He knocks that pass down, and Doug Coleman, who is being recruited by several schools, Might be a defensive back in the future, and that was a great play.
Well, he's got the speed for it, and this is textbook coverage here. You can see right here, great throw here, but gets his head around, gets that arm up, and that is how you play defensive back.
ULM, Louisiana Tech among the schools. Looking at him wide open, though, as Coleman lets his man go by, and C.J. Morgan in the end zone for a touchdown. 39 yards.
Well, as fast as we could say textbook coverage on one play, here Coleman lets his man, gets behind him again, and that's C.J. Morgan. This is the second time we've seen some miscommunication with Zachary in the secondary. And you can't pick it up right here on the screen, but you'll see C.J. Morgan just gets behind that zone coverage, and real miscommunication. That's just blown coverage there. Nobody within 15 yards of him again.
Looked like maybe a stop-and-go route. Morgan kept going. Coleman stopped, and it's 6 points for Parkway. And then the extra point was good. So 2 quick touchdowns to begin our second half on the Cox 4 game of the week, and Parkway leads it by 7. There's a look at the peak performance physical therapy scoring drive. 3 plays, 48 yards. Woodsy, a long touchdown pass to C.J. Morgan, as Woodsy has thrown 3 touchdown passes in this game. And this game is a little bit different than the other 5A semifinal game. I'll give you a scoring update on that one. Coleman will take this from the 4. Coleman to the 15, and a flag goes down. Zachary will likely have to start this drive deep in their own territory. So in the other, as you see the holding.
Number 1.
The other semifinal game, John Ehret leading Mandeville 7-6. A little different than the game that we got here at Bronco Stadium. So again, the winner of tonight's game faces Ehret and Mandeville, and if it is Ehret, we saw Ehret a couple weeks ago beat Live Oak. The storyline will be explosive offense against a very stout defense.
And you're right, and that John Ehret has a tremendous defense. They've got the best athletes that I've seen on a high school football team on defense, and you can see that stout defense holding Mandeville right down to 6 points. And, you know, also on offense, John Ehret runs the football a lot, so that doesn't surprise me that scored in that game.
1st and 10 from the 10 here for Zachary. Lindsey Scott in shotgun formation. Scott will hand it off to Terry Sullivan, and Terry Sullivan has the first down all the way up to the 28-yard line, a gain of 18 yards for Sullivan, who's really running the ball well tonight.
Well, and this is interesting because, you know, obviously the storyline is going to be these two schools slinging the football all over the field, but it's the running game that these two teams are finding success in here, and you can see Terry Sullivan really getting going here in the second half. He's had a few big key runs, and there was another one right there.
1st and 10 at the 28-yard line for Scott. Scott, with 4 down defensive linemen, will hand it off, and Sullivan, a workmanlike run there for about 6 yards to the 39-yard line. Well, we're not seeing many negative plays anymore. We saw the 2 defenses for these respective clubs really come out firing in the first quarter. It took a while for these 2 offenses to settle down, but now that they're in their groove, these 2 defenses they're getting pushed around a little bit.
Yeah, you know, look, Coach Brewerton's an all-offensive lineman, so he's going to have that mentality, and he's the type, if we're going to win this thing in the trenches and be more physical, he's absolutely fine with continuing to run the football. He loves to preach that physical toughness.
2nd down and 4. David Brewerton was on that Catholic High team in 1990 that played in a state championship game. Up to the 43-yard on that run. Jason, I'm forgetting who won that game back in 1990. Jason McQuarrie was on that team, too.
Yeah. Ruston, I think, was ranked.
Is it close?
It was number 2 in the country, okay, that year. I mean, the entire Ruston team went to LSU almost, but no, it was not close. I'm not going to repeat the score, but we did have trouble punting the football. So
it was 52-10, something like that.
Yeah, that works. I'll take that.
Hopefully Dale Weiner and them can do it. Look at Lindsey Scott. He gets a huge block. And now it's a foot race to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown! No flags.
Unbelievable run. And look, when I was talking to Lindsey's dad at the half, he whispered in my ear, he says, look, they can run the ball with Lindsey. I see a lot of open lanes. If they just allow him to run the ball, I think they can take over the game. So, and that's what they're doing here. We've now seen 2 explosive runs from Lindsey Scott at the quarterback position. And you can see another one here. And this is a big run by Lindsey Scott. And when he gets in the open field, he's tough to catch. Electrifying player, good speed, back in the end zone.
So now for the extra point to tie things up. The score at halftime was 20-13. It has changed quite a bit here.
Yeah,
3 touchdowns early in this third quarter. Bastido's extra point ties it. We've played 4 minutes and 22 seconds in this third quarter. Lindsey Scott and the Zachary offense is cooking now. A long touchdown run for the Gatorade Player of the Year in Louisiana on the Cox 4 Game of the Week. There's the score for the other game tonight. John Ehret leading Mandeville 7-6. This game completely different.
Yeah, that's not a baseball score. That's a football score, relatively speaking, to this game. But, you know, Jeff, I was predicting for this game and looking at the 2 on paper, the defense, and I know it sounds bad, but the defense that can hold the school to 40 or less points has the best chance of winning this football game, and we're on track for that.
Fontenot with the kick all the way down to the 14, and here comes Morgan, and now a flag flies against Parkway on their return. Lindsey Scott, 2 rushing touchdowns, both of them coming here in this third quarter. He's also thrown a touchdown, as we'll hear from Randy Donald.
And he's got 166 yards rushing the football.
83 holds.
Last week, Lindsey Scott threw 4 touchdown passes and ran for 3.
Holding on the receiving team, number 83, 10 yards from the spot of the 3. First down.
All right, let's see now how Parkway can match what Zachary's doing offensively. And eventually one of these defenses, they're going to make a play here. But this game has that feeling, whoever has the ball last wins.
Yeah, that's right. Or if one of those defenses can step up at the end of the game.
You're right about that. Woodsy will dump it off to C.J. Morgan. Out to the 30-yard line. The speed and quickness for that young man. 4.55 speed. I think he's got faster than 4.55 speed.
Well, he looks faster. Now you're starting to see this Parkway offense really operate in full rhythm. Good look at C.J. Morgan now. But now they're starting to throw these little quick hitters out of this offense, which they love to do. That running game is getting going, and that's why this offense is so explosive.
Run again by C.J. Morgan, who spins and turns his way up to the 36-yard line. It still amazes me how much Parkway is running the football here tonight. I mean, we came into this game thinking the Panthers were going to just throw it all around the football field, but the running game has been working for David Feaster, and they've been sticking to it.
Well, and Zachary's taken away some of those little quick hitters, those quick throws around the line of scrimmage, so they've had to go a little bit more to the run game.
Well, they'll throw it here, but this is almost like an extended handoff to C.J. Morgan. Morgan is into Zachary territory before he's chopped down at the 45-yard line. Brought down by the Broncos' Braylon Jones.
Well, and that, again, this Parkway offense is getting in rhythm. And how can you tell they're in rhythm? How fast they run the next play. They're already up to the line of scrimmage. You can see getting the ball out quickly here. And C.J. Morgan just doing his thing in open field. And now Parkway ready to snap the ball again. And that lets you know that offense is in rhythm because they want to go faster and faster.
Woodsy fakes the run, hands it off to McKnight. McKnight, nice job by the Zachary defense to string that along, and there's actually a loss of 2. Been a while since we've seen a negative play. Tywan Bearden, have not mentioned his name that much, but he was in on the tackle along with P.J. Cannon.
Yeah, and P.J. Cannon comes along and finishes it off, but it's Tywan Bearden there that's stringing that play out, and watch P.J. Cannon come up and make the tackle, and Got a Parkway player shaken up on the last play.
Looks like one of their offensive linemen will have to come off the field here. That is Delton Michel, a sophomore for them. Hopefully he'll be able to get back out there. But second down and 12 coming up here for Parkway. As we approach the midway point of the third quarter of this 5A semifinal game that appears to be one that they'll be talking about for a long time to come. Glad you could join us here on the Cox 4 Game of the Week. Woodtee looking downfield here on this second down and 12. Zips it over, and it is caught by Terrace Marshall. Marshall makes one man miss and then brought down at the 36-yard line. Big hit there by Donovan Perkins from his linebacker position to bring down the sophomore wideout. And it's going to be about 3rd and 3 coming up for.
Well, they were really playing off of Terrace Marshall there, and that's why he's able to make that. And Woodtee picking that up and hitting him quickly.
McKnight from the I formation runs straight ahead, and he's got the first down. Perkins in on another tackle there, along with Tywan Bearden. Also there in the vicinity for Zachary was Broncos senior defensive lineman Darryl Brown. 1st and 10 as Parkway continues to move the chains. Under 6 minutes to go now in the third quarter. As they have the ball up to the 32-yard line. New running back in there for Parkway. That is E.J. Williams. Woodtee keeps it, though, and then Woodtee gets shoved back at the 28-yard line. It's about 4 yards for Woodtee, the Louisiana Tech commitment. Coach David Feaster thinks he's the best quarterback in the nation. He has a lot of confidence in him, and he has played very well in this contest.
Well, he's a great player, and look, Louisiana Tech is going to be fortunate to have him. You can see he's got the full package. He stands tall in the pocket. He throws an unbelievable ball, but I'll tell you what, the quarterback on the other side is probably going to take some issue with that statement.
Woodtee will hand it off to McKnight. Again, they string it, though. Nicely done. Bearden and Cannon again combine in on another tackle. Well, they've tried that play a couple of times. Similar results as Zachary seems to have that one down. They're having trouble stopping anything else Parkway does, but this play they seem to have figured out.
Well, and they keep running these stretch plays, and that's a part of their offense. And the reason they run those stretch plays is it makes those defense cover sideline to sideline, hopefully open up some running lanes for Woodtee and C.J. Morgan coming out of the backfield.
3rd down and 7, and a handoff here to Morgan. Or no, he throw it over the middle of the field, and did he catch it? Incomplete pass. Incomplete pass.
That's the right call, and I know the whole catch rule is being complicated from the NFL down, but this ball he really never had possession of. He was juggling it the whole way. A slant route off of that read option and sticks it in there to Terrace Marshall, but he really never gets possession of this football.
Braylon Jones looked like he knocked it away, so 4th down.
Here you go on the replay. Well, we didn't get a chance to get to it. Obviously, we want to get to this play here. But from my vantage point, it didn't look like he ever really had possession of that football.
No one in the backfield with Woodtee. Woodtee looking to throw. Has all day to throw. Now he's flushed out of the pocket. On the move, throws incomplete. And Zachary's defense comes up with a stop. C.J. Morgan couldn't grab it. 1st down, Broncos. Let's take a look at what may have been a catch. We'll find out here.
Let's see here if he actually ever has that ball. And see, I don't see where he ever really has that ball. You could see that the Zachary defender had his hand in there. He never really got it to the body. It was bouncing around. I think that's the right call by the official there.
That was not Braylon Jones who stripped it, could not get a number there. And now Lindsey Scott and the Broncos are back out there with just over 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. We're all tied up in 27. It's been a while since Zachary has had the lead. You got to go all the way back to the early stages of the second quarter. Scott will zip one over the middle, and it's dropped in coverage. Shiron White had it hit off his hands.
Well, this is when Sharon White knows he's got to come up with. That's why he's shaking his head, because Lindsey Scott just throws a dart in here between two defenders, and that's what got him going to be playing at some of the elite conference, the next level. But that was just a dart he fires in there. Sharon's got to look that one in.
2nd down and 10. Scott, once again, in that shotgun formation, he'll keep it, and he's got a lot of room to run with Coleman blocking in front of him, and he'll just step out of bounds at the 42-yard line. 13-yard run makes it look so easy for David Brewerton's team.
Well, Lindsey's really, really hurting him with his legs. I mean, he had just here in the third quarter over 160 yards rushing already from the quarterback position, and it's these little runs like this, the 10 and 12-yard variety, that moves the chains for Zachary and keeps this offense on the field. You see Feaster over there pointing. They're going to have to figure out a way to take away some of those running lanes from him.
This time a pass out to White, who catches it, and he's got a head of steam into Parkway territory to the 45-yard line. Give him a gain of 12, and the Broncos on the move again.
Well, here's that little quick hitter along the line of scrimmage of Sharon White, just getting the ball out quickly, getting some blocks downfield. Good blocking there by the Zachary receivers. Sharon White showing you his speed and picking up another first down, and this Zachary offense is now picking up and finding its rhythm.
Nearly 50 catches on the year this year for White. Now they go to Sullivan, and he's brought down. New defensive lineman in there for Parkway. Saw number 76, don't have him on the roster, but I saw him make the tackle, whoever that might be. Gain of 3.
Well, you can see here Zachary content using up a lot of this play clock, and it's a tie football game. The reason is they're in no hurry to put that Parkway offense back on the field, so sometimes a good defense is your offense chewing up a lot of time.
Play clock at 5 seconds here and counting. They just get the snap off, and Scott, look at this. Big run here by Lindsey, Terry Sullivan.
Yeah, that's Terry Sullivan with the handoff there from Lindsey Scott. But again, these holes are continuing to open along this Zachary front. And you got to credit this offensive line of Zachary. These guys down in the trenches, as you can see that double team block right there. And Terry Sullivan seeing it and getting north and south, and he knows how to finish a run.
Darius Bradford on the receiving end of that hit, as Sullivan has over 1,300 yards rushing on the season. Up to the 23-yard line is Zachary. Scott will keep it. He keeps it, and he's down to the 15, to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown! Broncos in the lead.
Wow, unbelievable. Guys, that's your Gatorade Player of the Year, and you see why. Now 3 rushing touchdowns in the game tonight for Lindsey Scott. And really what he does here, it looks like it's going to be a quarterback sneak. He comes up to the line of scrimmage with the football, realizes nothing's there, and then bounces it outside. That key block comes in there at the end, and then this is just a great athlete in the open field. He's hard to tackle, he's strong, and he can get his team in the end zone, and that's why he's the Gatorade Player of the Year. You see him, number 18, Lindsey Scott.
3 rushing touchdowns for Scott here in the third quarter. 4 for the game altogether if you put in the passing touchdown, and we have a Parkway player that is injured along the Zachary sideline.
And Lindsey now has 20 rushes for 203 yards. I mean, if you told me he was going to throw the ball for 200 yards in this game, I would say I didn't expect him to run for over 200 yards in this football game.
I'll tell you, that gets him over 1,800 yards rushing for the season. If they are able to play for the 5A title, he'll have the opportunity, Jason, to not only throw for over 2,000 yards, but also rush for over 2,000 yards.
Yeah, let's see if we can see the injury on this play here. It's Jalen Hall for Parkway.
Ooh.
Right
That's
there.
That's a tough injury there.
And they are carrying him off, and obviously he can't put any weight on that. So that is unfortunate. And you can see him in the back of the end zone. They're kind of corralled or trying to lift him off. In fact, they have to completely pick him up because he couldn't put any weight on there. And our best wishes go out to him, and hopefully it's nothing too serious.
Ashton Bastido, who missed his first extra point try of the night, has been perfect since then. We'll try to give Zachary a lead as the Broncos, they led it for a good part of the first half, and then Parkway eventually, though, regained the lead, or gained the lead for the first time, and had a 7-point lead at halftime. But Zachary's offense has been unstoppable in this third quarter, as they have scored 3 touchdowns with Lindsey Scott running it into the end zone each time.
Wow, unbelievable.
So Broncos march it off half the distance.
So a penalty there is Parkway was offsides on the extra point try.
Well, and these extra points are becoming more and more critical if you want to try to keep that 7-point cushion here.
27, Bastido to kick the point after touchdown. Motion across the formation by R.J. Newton. He goes back.
Newton in motion. Bastido waiting for the snap. The hold is down, and the kick is through the uprights. And the Zachary Broncos and Lindsey Scott lead it 34-27 over the Parkway Panthers. What a third quarter it has been. 4 touchdowns in this third quarter, 3 of them by Zachary, to erase a 7-point deficit. It started with this run by Lindsey Scott on 4th and short. And then Woodty finding a wide open C.J. Morgan into the end zone, and then more of Lindsey Scott. How explosive was this run with some great blocking downfield? You don't think he's fast, but when he gets out in the open field, you can't catch him. Yeah.
And here he goes again on the last one, and just, waltzes right in there to the end zone, and I'll tell you, he got that Zachary fan base jamming over there in the sidelines, and that much-needed rest for him on the bench. He's having to do a lot of it with his legs there, and obviously trying to regain his win there so he can be ready for the final quarter of this football game. Still got 2:30 left in this, and Jeff, we were expecting a lot of points in this football game, and so far, they haven't disappointed.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we see another lead change or two. They faked a reverse here. Robert McKnight dodges one tackler, but can't slip away from the second one, and he's brought down at the 23-yard line. 2:21 left to go in the third. And now it's going to be up to the Parkway offense to respond. Zachary's defense stopped Parkway. I don't want to say shut him down last time, because Parkway drove it into Zachary territory, but Zachary's defense came up with a stand.
Yeah, right around where Parkway got to that, close to that red zone, Zachary was able to, come up with a big stand on 4th down, and which led to that last score there by Zachary.
Woodty keeps it, and there's a seam for him to run through, and he gets to the 33-yard line, a yard shy of the first down.
Well, and see, that's why they keep doing these runs, these wide runs, these runs over to the side, and these stretch runs, because eventually what it does is it opens up some running lanes in the middle there for Woodty, and you saw him take advantage of them, one of them right there.
2nd and inches coming up here for now. They're going to say it is a first down. The referee, Randy Donald, runs up to the line of scrimmage, says it's a first down. They got to move the chains on the far side of the field. Clock stopped with 2 minutes exactly to go in this third quarter. Woodty waits for the snap. Play action fake. He's got time to throw. Wide receivers going deep. He airs this one out to Robert McKnight, who catches it at the 10. And then he's knocked out of bounds at the 6-yard line. Wow, big play there. That is going to be for 61 yards.
Well, this is Woodty saying, look, I just believe that my guy can go up, McKnight, and make a play on the football. Zachary had the coverage there, and you can see there, Woodty saying, I'm going for the home run ball. He throws it into coverage. McKnight makes the adjustment, comes back to the football in between 2 defenders, and is able to come down with a big play there for Parkway.
And he throws it across the field.
Yeah.
Man, 1st and goal at the 6. Parkway looking to tie it up. C.J. Morgan around the left end, and Morgan gets pushed back at the 4. Parkway inside the Gary Lewis Properties red zone. Second and goal, as Morgan just got 1 yard on that run.
Let's see how Parkway does now that the field gets compressed here. They've struggled a little bit with these spread teams. They get down around the goal line. They have to change their identity and go more into the I formation and the power game.
Woodsy wants to throw it in the end zone. He's under pressure. Escapes 2 men. Can he get away from another? He throws it away, and it's going to be an incomplete pass. Well, Woodsy was a magician there on that play.
Yeah, and he's lucky that he's able to get that ball away and not come out with a big loss there because it wasn't there initially. Does his Houdini act, and fortunately, knee doesn't touch the ground. Finds a receiver out there just to throw it and not get the intentional grounding. But that was a whole lot of work from the 2 or 3 yard line. And again, you know, Parkway has to change identity. You see, they go to this I formation, not what their bread and butter is.
McKnight trying to get into the end zone. He's up to the 2. And then the Broncos bring him back. 4th and goal coming up.
How many times have we seen tonight Parkway in these 4th down situations? So far, Zachary has gotten the better of them on 4th down. They've gone for it on 4th down a lot, even some here around the goal line. And this is a critical play, 4th and 2 here. Parkway's got to get it in the end zone to have a chance at tying up this football game.
There is no one sitting down in this stadium on this 4th and goal. McKnight, dot in the I. Morgan, the fullback. Woodsy's going to throw for it on 4th down. Lofts it to the back of the end zone. Incomplete. And Zachary's defense comes up with another stand.
Well, credit the Zachary defense again for their goal line defense. 4 plays here for Parkway around the 2 yard line and can't convert. And again, Parkway struggling when they get down here close to the goal line, trying to convert from that spread offense to more of an I formation. That time, Woodsy allowed the ball to kind of sail on him. His receiver, Marshall, really had no chance to make a play inbounds and try to catch that ball and get a foot in. The ball was just thrown too far over Marshall's head.
Second goal line stand for the Zachary defense. And so with 11 seconds, they'll start another drive from their 2 yard line. They already have a 98 yard drive that has resulted in 6 points. They give it to Terry Sullivan, and that will end what has been an exciting 3rd quarter. 4 touchdowns were put on the scoreboard, 3 of them by Zachary. And the Broncos are 12 minutes away from a trip to the Class 5A state championship game. Can they do it, or will it be the Parkway Panthers? Stay tuned. You're watching the Cox Ford Game of the Week. 1 more quarter left on the Cox Ford Game of the Week. The Zachary Broncos leading the Parkway Panthers 34-27. Jeff Palermo, Jason DeQuire, Laura Ashley here from a very festive Broncos Stadium. The winner of this game will face the winner of Mandeville and John Ehret. And they're still back in 1970s football there with John Ehret and Mandeville, 7-6. And then to the north, it is West Feliciana leading Lutcher 38-32. The winner of that game will face St. James in the Class 3A state championship game next Saturday afternoon in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. And one other score, Carr leading Franklinton in the 4th quarter, 26-21. So some great games going on. Scott will keep it here. Scott all the way up to the 20-yard line.
Wow. I mean, they are going to have to, and when I say they, Parkway is going to have to find a way to slow Lindsey Scott down from running the football, because I'm telling you, these critical yards that he's picking up for this offense is really what's catapulting them, and which is why they're having so much success. Again, over 200 yards rushing on about 20 carries, and he's just continuing to do a lot of damage on the ground.
The student section here at Zachary, ready to celebrate. Still a lot of work to do, though. 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. Handoff here to Sullivan, who is just a bowling ball out there. Runs over the Parkway defender, Ladarian Patterson, who's playing both ways now. gets about 6 yards.
And I can tell you what the mentality of Coach Brewerton here is. Let's slow it down a little bit. Let's see if we can take a lot of time off of this clock here in the fourth quarter and stick it in the end zone there at the end of a long drive, giving them a 2-possession lead. And that's got to be the mentality here. As you can see, some of the Parkway starting to hold hands on hips, and this run game really wearing on them.
2nd down and 4. Scott will keep it, and he's close to the first down. Tossed to the ground by Kyler Morris, who's had a great game today for Parkway. Parkway forced 3 turnovers in the first half. It might be time for them to force number 4 if they're going to want to win this game.
Well, yeah, they either need a turnover, or what they're going to have to do is start bringing more men to the line of scrimmage. And you're going to have to take one of these linebackers and focus in on number 18. And your assignment is going to be to follow number 18 in these read options and take him, eliminate him as a runner so that we can try to, get them off the field.
1st and 10 at the 31-yard line. Scott will keep it, just patiently waiting for his hole, and there he goes to the 50, up to the 43-yard line. Great run by Scott.
I tell you, Jeff, this is one of the most unbelievable performances I've ever seen from a quarterback running the football, and a lot of people used to see quarterbacks run for a lot of yards in the wishbone and the triple option. But, to some degree, this read option and the spread is very, very similar to that, and it gives the quarterback the option to run. They just do it from the shotgun formation as opposed from under the center.
Lloyd Cole made the stop as Zachary once again in Parkway territory at the 41-yard line. Sullivan gets a chance to carry it, this time for only 2 or 3. That time a little penetration in the backfield for Parkway to shut that play down, again led by Kyler Morris and also Tarver Semaj.
And that clock continuing to tick. So, 9:40 here, as you can see in the screen in the fourth quarter. And that's why you see Lindsey Scott just catching his breath. They're in no hurry whatsoever. They want that clock to keep going. They want to keep running the football, shortening this game, and trying to put some more points up on the board.
2nd down and 8. Scott waits and now runs straight ahead, busts through the line of scrimmage, but not the second wave of defenders that bring him down. Colton Nicholas, one of the defenders there, and a 3rd down coming up for Brewerton's Broncos.
Well, a big play for this Parkway defense. If they can get a stop here, this is going to be kind of that gray area for Coach Brewerton and Zachary on 4th down. You don't want to give up this good field possession here. They could be forced to possibly pooch punt this thing and try to back Parkway up.
Sullivan to the left of Scott. And Scott's going to throw. Here comes the pressure from the backside, and it is incomplete.
Well, this is what I was just talking about. Good pressure here, able to get their hands up and bat this ball down. Now Brewerton's really got a tough decision here on his hands. You've got a one score lead. Obviously, you see Lindsey saying, let's go for it, Coach, let's go for it. But do you try to pooch it and make them drive the whole length of the field here?
Ball knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Great defensive play. And Brewerton wants to talk about it.
Yeah, he's got to really think this one over here, because Parkway's offense has really started to develop a rhythm here. And if they don't dial up the right play and don't convert, you're giving them the ball with good field position.
We'll take the timeout with them. 4th down coming up in this fourth quarter of the Class 5A semifinals. Zachary leading Parkway on the Cox 4 game of the week. There's a look at Justin Jackson. His grandmother came up to the truck and said, please show my grandson on television. So there's Justin Jackson along with Tywan Bearden and another one of his teammates, Colby Wynn.
Well, kudos to our producers, and they know when a grandmother speaks, you better listen. So we have respected her wishes.
4th down coming up here for Scott. He's got time to throw over the middle. Dropped at the 20-yard line, and Parkway exhales.
Well, if you want to get to the state championship, these are the type of plays that you have to make. And, one of their best players, Douglas Coleman, Lindsey Scott catches him on the slant here, and he is wide open and just has to look that football in, and he clearly picks up the first down. Sometimes you're so worried about catching that, you're worried about the hit or running after the catch, but on fourth down, the first and foremost thing you got to do is secure the football, make sure you get the first down. You know, fortunate there for Parkway. Now they get the ball here, good field position, chance to tie this football game.
And here comes Morgan. Morgan gets to the 41-yard line before Zachary holds him up.
And I can tell you, Coach Feaster over there, just a big sigh of relief, because if Zachary converts there, a fresh set of downs, they're marching towards the end zone and a chance to really get some separation in this game. That right there, that drop could turn out to be one of the key plays in this football game.
There's been a bunch of them as we're coming up on the 8-minute mark of this one. Woodsy will get underneath center, and he'll hand it off to the fullback, C.J. Morgan, who grinds out 3 more yards. And Zachary's defense stiffening up here. Tywan Beard in there defensively. See P.J. Cannon along with Donovan Perkins. Herb Cummings. There's a look at Kenan Tate, a senior.
Well, it's so interesting to watch this Parkway offense operate. They go from the spread formation to this power I formation.
Third and 1, and I don't think he got it. Half a yard short. Kind of wish LSU's offense would take a
that's sort of what I was thinking, you know. And you know, obviously, where did LSU's quarterback come from, you know? So if you do some of those similar things, but look, it's not about LSU right now, it's about Parkway trying to get this first down.
4th down and 1. We've already seen Zachary's defense stop him on 4th down before. Woodsy wide open down the field, and he can't hang on to it. Oh. Boy, oh boy. That could not see who that receiver was jetting down the far sidelines. That was 15, Deontay Hawkins, who was wide open. Could not make the grab.
Well, and nobody covered him. I don't know if Zachary saw him on the sideline. I wonder if this was one of these hideout plays, these trick plays where you kind of blend a receiver over there with your folks on the sideline. But Zachary had absolutely no coverage on Deontay Hawkins, and really all Woodsy had to do was just lay this out there, and he could have caught it, but they couldn't convert. And now
didn't look like the easiest catch to make, though.
No, the ball started to float a little bit and drift towards the sideline. He was very worried about keeping his feet in bounds, and big change possession here.
Scott will keep it, and there's a couple of Panthers there to bring him down. Greg Jones, a 1-yard gain for Scott.
Well, and again, I really think that was a trick play design. I don't think they saw Hawkins even lined up at the far side. 4th and short, they're thinking that Parkway's probably going to run the football and wouldn't take a gamble like that. But I think you're right, Jeff. That ball started floating a little bit too much towards the sideline. Hawkins tries to adjust his feet and can't come down with the football.
2nd down and 9. Can Parkway's defense come up with another stop? They just stopped on to force Zachary to turn over on downs as Terry Sullivan running hard to the 38. A manageable 3rd down and a short 3 coming up for the Broncos.
Well, credit Terry Sullivan on this run. I mean, he was able to churn an extra couple of yards out of this by just sheer determination and power. But they had him stopped, and he's able to just break tackles, keep those legs going. He's got a powerful frame, and now it becomes a 3rd and short situation where it could have been about 3rd and 6 or 7.
3rd down and 3. Sullivan and Scott in the backfield as they've been all night. And they run a kind of a counter there with Terry Sullivan, and I don't think he got it.
I don't know, Jeff. This is going to be close here. This is going to be very close depending on the spot. Where they have the ball spotted down, it almost, no, he brings it back a little bit. Okay. All right.
4th down.
Yeah, 4th down. Where that ball was originally spotted, it was going to be a 1st down, but you saw him scoot it back just a little bit. You can see Brewerton over there, boy. I know he's grinding. He is grinding, and he knows this is a big down here because if you convert this, you get a chance to continue to work on that clock.
2 years ago, David Brewerton led Livonia to the Class 3A championship game where they lost to Union Parish in overtime. He's been there. Zachary has not. 4th down and 1. Scott will keep it, and he's got it. Parkway did all they could defensively, but the Zachary fans signaling 1st down for their Broncos.
Well, that's huge, and now Parkway is probably going to have to start making some adjustments here on defense. They're not going to be able to allow Zachary to just chew this clock up and run the football. So here goes that cat and mouse game. You're going to start having to bring people from the secondary closer to the line of scrimmage for Parkway, but you better be careful because Lindsay will take that ball and try to pop it over the top, but they're going to have to start selling out a little bit here.
Terry Sullivan running hard, gets about 4. The yards are getting hard to come by, but still Zachary at least is getting 4, 5, 6 yards every time they run.
That's 6 yards on 1st down. You can't ask for anything more out of your run game because, you know, Parkway knows you're going to run the football, and you got to credit that offensive line. I mean, they are just, you know, creating, they're pushing these guys back and creating some holes in there for Terry Sullivan to run.
2nd down and 5 with the ball inside the 30-yard line. Sullivan will lead for Scott, and Scott very close to another 1st down.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm David Feaster here, I've got to start taking some gambles. I mean, you got to start taking some chances on the run game, you know, and bringing more people to the line of scrimmage. I know you don't want to leave some of these Zachary receivers, and you can see him looking at the defensive coordinator closely. I think he's going to start getting involved in this defense here and start saying, hey, we got to take some chances. But he's still working on those referees. I mean, he has been on them the entire night.
Neil May is the defensive coordinator for Parkway. 1st and 10 at the 24-yard line. Scott will give it to Sullivan, and Sullivan breaks through to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown! Touchdown, Broncos!
Wow.
They're up 13 with 3:08 left to go.
Well, we talked about Lindsey Scott, and we've talked about Terry Sullivan, but who needs the credit is this offensive line for Zachary, and I'm talking about Holden and Anderson and Hollins and Turner. Some of these guys on that offensive line is who deserves the credit for creating holes all night for these guys to run through.
Extra point try coming up here for Bastido. A big celebration is set to begin here at Zachary High School. The extra point is good. The Broncos are up by 14. Can they hold on? We'll find out when we come back on the Cox 4 Game of the Week. Cox 4 wants to thank Louisiana Lift for their support of this telecast all season long, specializing in customer service on equipment, rental, parts, and training. Louisiana Lift has been serving its customers since 1980. Check them out online at lalift.com or call their Baton Rouge area office at 753-5700. That's Kirk Robertson, way up there on the Louisiana Lift. Also want to thank all our cameramen and camerawomen during the season. We have Steve and Mary. They're all bundled up here.
Look, I was talking to them. They had their hand warmers, their gloves. She said, hey, I even got my snow pants on. You know, I said, it doesn't snow in Louisiana.
What about our main man down on the sidelines, Josh? We'll get a picture of him before we leave here tonight. Will they reverse? And there's a fumble in the backfield, or I shouldn't say the backfield, but deep in their own territory at the 16. Recovered, though, by Morgan. There's Josh.
The cameraman.
I tell you what, though, you're not a sideline cameraman until you get taken out on a play.
I remember that. And the thing about it is, he didn't need a trainer. He brushed the trainers off. He got right back up and started doing his job again. So kudos to Josh. And look, I also want to thank both of these schools for allowing us to do this game on TV. And I also want to thank the fine folks here at Zachary for always accommodating us with these fine facilities.
All right, a little hook and lateral, and it's a fumble. only get a couple of yards. So Parkway trying to score on a little trickeration. And the winner of this game will face the John Ehret Patriots. Congratulations to Corey Lambert and John Ehret. They are heading to the Dome, and that pass is incomplete.
Well, it looks like Mandeville couldn't get that guy from third to home plate and tie it up. So, but nevertheless, in the shootout over here, you can see this fan base sensing this, that there's 2 minutes and 35 seconds that stand between them and a trip to the Mercedes-Benz Superdome for the state championship game, as you mentioned, with the matchup with John Ehret.
3rd down and 8. Parkway needs a big play, and that's an understatement. So they turn to Woodsy. Woodsy, does he got the first down? I think he does. Up to the 26. Keandre Woodsy heading to Louisiana Tech. Plans to enroll in January. He was born in Japan, by the way. His,
that's what
parents were
military.
in the military.
Yeah.
He moved to Louisiana when he was 3 years old.
And we thank them for their service.
Yes. Woodsy's pass to the near side to C.J. Morgan. C.J. Morgan is knocked down. I think he has enough for the first. No, it's close.
Well, when Brewerton came to this club, Neil Weiner was able to get close, but when Brewerton came here, one of the things that he wanted to preach was physicality and a new mentality. And, I felt like, and this game is not over, still got a minute and 58, but I felt like this could be Zachary's year.
Woodsy under pressure. He shakes off a defender. Now just flings it downfield, and it's intercepted. That's your ball game. The Zachary Broncos load up the bus, fuel up the cars. You're heading to the Mercedes-Benz Superdome.
Well, that's what this entire community has been waiting for. You see that excited fan base. It's been too long. Baton Rouge area in 5A will be sending a team now in the non-select division and on the road. They'll be going down the road, as you mentioned, to New Orleans, to the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, and that should seal the deal right there. That last interception there.
Shiren White with the interception, and Keandre Woodsy, his great high school career, that might be his final pass of his prep career.
Well, here you just got to be thinking, protect the football. Protect the football.
Terry Sullivan. And that's a first down. Well, me and you, Jason, we've been watching this Zachary team grow up. Remember when we did that Plaquemine game? When these guys were sophomores?
And they were just trying to figure out Lindsey Scott into the starting role, They had some injuries. And
we were talking to Neil Weiner. Well, we're going to start this Scott guy. I don't know what we're going to get. Terry Sullivan, I don't know what we're going to get. Doug Coleman looks pretty good. Well, I know Neil Weiner, he's probably, with a big smile, he's part of this as well. To bring Zachary to the 5A championship game. A lot of disappointment on that Parkway sidelines. But this Zachary team has grown up before our own eyes.
Yes, they really have, and we've seen them mature. And, it was sort of my preseason prediction, that Zachary and Lindsey Scott was going to had the opportunity to be considered one of the best in high school football this year, and that I thought the veteran nature of this club, the physical mentality that Brewerton has instilled here could actually put them over the top. And it doesn't hurt that they had a lot of games here in the Baton Rouge area and at home in their march to the Superdome. I mean, this game could have been, 4 hours in the other direction up in Parkway. So that home field advantage really helps out. But a lot of the things aligned here for this Zachary team and this community.
Let's take a look at our ITI game-changing play. We go to that interception that just sealed it, the first turnover of the day for Parkway. And you're going to look at the score, 41-27. But Zachary's defense, a big part of this victory. Remember the 2 goal line stands, and here this interception to snuff out any attempt of a miraculous comeback by Parkway.
Well, that really sealed the deal, that interception. But what I think sealed it more so for Zachary was their defense against Parkway in the red zone.
Yes.
You know, stopping them, you know, bending but not breaking when they got to the red zone and keeping them out of the end zone.
And keeping it is going to be Lindsey Scott, and Lindsey Scott fumbles the ball. And goes out of bounds, though. Wow. David Brewerton cannot believe the Gatorade Player of the Year doesn't have two hands on the football.
And if you don't think Brewerton keeps his mentality until the end of the football game, and that's what he's telling Lindsey Scott, look, you slow down on that play, you let up a little bit, you got lax with the football. This thing isn't over. We need to finish games. And I tell you what, even though everybody's excited, coaches keep coaching until the last second goes off of that clock.
So 3rd and 7 now for Zachary. Scott will get underneath center again. And a handoff to Terry Sullivan, and Sullivan has got about 5 yards. 4th down coming up. I believe a timeout has been called by Parkway. So 56 seconds left. Dave, we'll take a break. We'll have the conclusion of this one when we come back on the Cox 4 Game of the Week. Back here on the Cox 4 Game of the Week. Less than a minute to go as Zachary facing 4th down here against Parkway. A 1st down here will officially seal it.
Yeah, and Parkway spending their timeouts. I mean, they can't take them back with them, so you bet as well, you know, try to stop this clock. And obviously, you got to get a stop here and get the ball back. And like you said, probably hope for a miracle. But, you know, with the arm that Woodty has, I mean, he can get the football down the field in a hurry. So you just never know.
Oh, movement by the right guard. And that's going to be a 5-yard penalty. Well, these
previous spot still.
Eric Coleman and Amanda have been with us all season long. Laura Ashley on the sidelines. Jessica Province, who's down in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, has been a big part of the Baton Rouge Cox 4 Game of the Week. 4th down and 7. Scott will hand it off to Sullivan, and a stop, so Parkway still has a pulse. Boy, no time fell off that clock, right? It was 53 seconds when they snapped it.
I don't remember what the seconds were, honestly.
It might have been 58.
Yeah. But nevertheless, Parkway does have a chance to get the football back. And, you know,
Zach has been part of our Cox 4 Game of the Week team. Getting that microphone ready for the post-game interview.
And I gave a lot of credit to that Zachary offensive line, but I also want to give some credit to Cameron Carrier, Coach Chris Carrier's son, doing a lot of that lead blocking from the fullback position.
Middle screen here to Robert McKnight, and he's taken down to the ground in a hurry to the 40. Parkway uses another timeout. I believe that is their last timeout. We'll keep it here. It's been a fun year, Jason, as we wrap up another season of the Cox 4 Game of the Week.
It has, and you know, I wouldn't be like me if I didn't give you one more prediction here before the end of the game. Obviously, we know it's John Ehret and it's going to be Zachary, but you know, if you ask me who do I like in that one, John Ehret has an unbelievable defense, so it's going to be a great matchup to see if they can slow down this Zachary offense. And obviously, we still got 44 seconds if Zachary goes on to prevail. But I'm going to tell you, Jeff, I'd probably lean Zachary in that football game just because I have not been able to see anybody stop them from putting those kind of points on the board. You know, you can't eliminate this offense. And John Ehret, when I saw them and did that game, I just didn't think they had the offense or the offensive firepower to keep up.
D. Ray Washington, one of our directors, Kenny Mouton, another director for the Cox 4 Game of the Week. Want to thank them. This pass is complete to Deontay Hawkins to the 47-yard line. Frank Hilliard and Benny Robertson, our engineers this season. Doak Grazer and O.C. Anderson on audio. 1st and 10, Woodtee throws, and the pass is complete to Terrace Marshall. Marshall galloping through the Zachary secondary.
Clock will stop to move the first down here, and Parkway on the march. Look, if they can get this thing in the end zone with any amount of time left on the clock, it does allow them to do an onside kick, and who knows, maybe one of those Doug Flutie Hail Mary passes. So, you know, things are possible. Things can actually happen. A lot can happen with 27 seconds.
Ask the Detroit Lions. Dwayne Armstrong was on graphics all season long. Don't want to forget him. Clock now ticking at the 20-yard line. Woodtee throws to the end zone. Incomplete.
Well, if there's one thing Woodtee's going to look at if he does go back and look at this film, sometimes your last game, you don't really want to go back. But a couple of his balls have floated a little bit too far to the sideline, and it hasn't given his receivers a chance to make a play on the ball like you saw in that last throw.
2nd down and 10. Woodtee throws to the end zone again, and it's batted around, incomplete.
Wow.
Knocked away by Shiron White. 13 seconds left.
Well, and obviously they're trying to take these shots to the end zone, and you have to, because you got to try to preserve as much time on the clock if you're Parkway to go through with the onside kick and try to get another stab at it. So I would suspect here, if I'm Coach Feaster, I'm going to have my quarterback throw it to the end zone again.
3rd down and 10. The pass is caught. There's the hook and lateral. And getting knocked out of bounds is C.J. Morgan. He gets the 1st down, but just 6 seconds left.
Yeah, you see, that's why those throws have to go to the end zone, because, you know, I don't even know if you have enough time here for 2 plays. I mean, a couple of seconds are going to run off, and, you know, you got to get the ball in the end zone.
So 1st and goal at the 7-yard line. Woodtee. Well, what do we got here? Some kind of legal procedure penalty on Parkway.
Reset the clock to 6 seconds.
And the referee asked to reset the clock to 6 seconds.
Well, I'm starting to see a whole lot of coordination here on the Zachary sidelines. I think something's up. Normally that means watch out for the water cooler and, you know, and the head coach getting a shower. But obviously Coach Brewiton's more worried about these 6 seconds than getting hit with the water bucket right now.
Middle screen incomplete. 3 seconds left. Final play coming up. Parkway will come up a little short this season. Last year they defeated Zachary on its way to the 2013 state title game. Tonight, Zachary returns the favor. Woodtee will throw. Pass is caught. Hawkins trying to get to the end zone. Does not get in. And that's it. The Zachary Broncos head to the Class 5A state championship game.
Well, where's the water bucket? This is the perfect time to get a shower when it's about 40 degrees outside. You know, he's getting away easy. I think he needs that water bucket on his head. But again, congratulations to Zachary, this entire football team, the hard work, and this Zachary community will celebrate all the way down I-10 and head to the New Orleans Superdome.
What a great day for the Baton Rouge area when it comes to high school football. Southern Lab won a state championship. Parkview Baptist won a state championship. And the Zachary Broncos are headed to the state championship game.
And look, hats off to Parkway. They've had an exceptional season coming into this game. They only had one loss here, and you see the good sportsmanship. You know they wanted it just as bad as Zachary did, but you continue to see the sportsmanship, but you also see a jubilant there. Coach David Brewerton couldn't be happier for that guy. He was a teammate of mine at Catholic High. I know how hard he works on his trade and getting his players ready, and, you know, I couldn't be any happier for that head coach and David Brewerton.
It's now time for our airing it out play of the game. I would imagine it has to involve Lindsey Scott.
Yeah. But is it airing it out with his legs or his arm?
No, how about when he's running and on the throw, as he throws or as he runs, throws an absolute perfect strike to Chiron White for a big touchdown in the second quarter.
And he did it through the air, and obviously he also did it on the ground. He had about 270. That's 270 rushing the football from the quarterback position. Amazing.
And we talked about how we've watched this Zachary team grow up. We've seen them, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 times here over the last 3 years. Best night I've ever seen Terry Sullivan run the football.
Yeah, he runs it hard, and you forget about him, but really he's the stable back in that offense because he gets those tough yards, and then Lindsey Scott can come behind him and kind of poke around that line of scrimmage and make things happen, and you see Lindsey there. And I'll tell you what, one of the most fascinating things I read in the paper about him with the Gatorade Player of the Year, Coach Brewerton calls him and says, "Hey, buddy, you're going to have to do a lot of interviews today." And Lindsey Scott turns around and tells him, "No, I'm not worried about that stuff. I need to start throwing some routes with my receivers." And that's just a testament of his maturity and how bad he wants this.
David Brewerton has made it his way over to Laura Ashley. And let's send it down to the field and hear from them. I think, well, no, Coach Brewerton is going to say hello to someone. It'll be John Aaron and Zachary in the 5A title game. A great defense against the best quarterback in the state and one of the best quarterbacks we've seen play in the state of Louisiana. Let's go down to the field.
Hey guys, I have Coach right here. Amazing game, of course. We talked earlier. What did you feel like the guys needed to do to execute it to get here tonight? What do you feel like the players did to definitely put the end zone?
We went in at halftime, made a couple adjustments here and there, and biggest thing is just our kids settling down. My God, our offensive line played so well tonight, being able to run the football, and our defense made plays when they had to make them, and couldn't be more proud of this football team, no doubt. Unbelievable.
And we're definitely excited for you guys to go to the championship. What can we expect from you guys at the Dome?
Well, I think that, our community is so excited about what's going on, and our kids, when you return this many guys off a semifinal team from last year, just kind of that feeling throughout the course of the season that this is where we had to be, and our kids have dealt with that pressure and some of the adversity that we've had, and it's so proud of our kids, and I'm so happy for our community right now.
Of course, and we're definitely proud of you guys too. Now, on behalf of Farm Bureau, here's your prize of the water can. And thank you, Coach, and congratulations on a great game.
Thank you. We appreciate the coverage. Thank you all for being here.
Of course. Thank you. We'll see you at the Dome. Back to you guys.
All right, David Brewerton's got a whole closet full of those
Get water.
Farm Bureau.
He should have got one put on his head tonight, but you can see David Brewerton getting very emotional towards the end. That tells you how much they worked and put into this and how much it means to this entire Zachary community.
We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll wrap it up from a jubilant Zachary High School on the Cox 4 Game of the Week.
Work. It's a word you live by. From your first cup of coffee in the morning to the book you set on the nightstand before turning out the light. It's in your blood. It's what keeps you going and what keeps us going. To all the hard-working men and women who helped build our great state, we say thank you for your dedication and for letting us lend a hand. Louisiana Cat, first in Louisiana, built for it.
One day, it appears. Is that a dark spot?
New Gold Bond Dark Spot Minimizing Cream for Body, targeted to help fade the look of dark spots beginning in 4 weeks. New Gold Bond for dark spots in the body lotion aisle.
Being free from the flakes and itch of dandruff feels great. Maximum Strength Selsun Blue targets the source of dandruff, wiping out flakes and itch before they start, leaving hair clean and healthy. Selsun Blue, freedom from dandruff.
The Cox 4 Game of the Week is brought to you by Livingston Parish Sheriff Jason Ard. His staff's primary concern is keeping Livingston Parish a safe place to live, work, and raise a family. And by Mellow Joy, the original Cajun coffee. Experience pure joy, Mellow Joy Coffee. And by Arsenault Ford. In New Iberia, the future is now, and we're making it even easier at the new, all-new Arsenault Ford. 41-27, the final score. They are dancing here at Zachary High School.
But they got an old song called "The Party Don't Stop," and it ain't gonna stop tonight because these folks are out here celebrating. I can tell you, this is going to continue on into the night, and they have all the right in the world to be doing this.
Zachary has been a model school system when it comes to academics, and it's good to see they're able to do it on the football field as well. So let's take a look at the 5A championship game. It's going to be John Ehret versus Zachary. I understand Mandeville tried a 69-yard field goal with no time left and nearly made it to go to the Dome. But John Ehret holds on, and so it's going to be Patriots and Broncos Saturday night inside the Mercedes-Benz Superdome.
And that's going to be a classic matchup of offense versus defense, and it's going to be interesting to see which one prevails for that state championship.
Final thoughts on this one, Jason?
Well, look, I predicted in the season that Zachary would be to this point, and with this senior club and Lindsey Scott get to the Superdome, they have done that. Now they've got one more that they've got to capitalize on if they want a state championship.
Well, that's going to do it for our broadcast, and what a season it's been, as it also concludes our season here on the Cox 4 Game of the Week. It's been a great year for a great team led by Jason Ferret, Eric Coleman, Jim Hogg, Wade Henderson, our producer Cameron Galloway, our director D. Ray Washington, sideline reporter Laura Ashley, my broadcast partner Jason DeQueer, and myself, Jeff Palermo. Thanks for watching the Cox 4 Game of the Week. We'll see you again next August. Before we leave you, images of the 2015 season.